Better hurry, spark it up with no worries. Harmonious gang with the big bro Yuriy. Hyphy, get lit just like me. Big bossed up, chop it up with Rylee. You better come with it to kick rocks, cause you now tuned in to Tent Talks. Now let's get lifted and take a shot. You are now tuned in to Tent Talks.
Lola, cheers with our tiki shot glasses. Oof. Someone said Riley's ad-libs. All right, boom.
Welcome back, everybody,
to another episode of Tent Talks. We're here for episode 93 of Tent Talks.
Yes.
Feels like we've been in the 90s forever now.
I know, because we missed.
Oh, yes, that's true.
We missed last week.
Because of someone's birthday.
We missed another day a couple months ago, too.
I know. Well, actually, not too long ago. We were supposed to... Okay, well, number one, welcome to another episode of Tent Talks. Rylee and I are officially back from Hawaii, and this is our first episode back.
Back from vacay.
We wanted to pre-record an episode before we went to Hawaii to premiere it because I didn't want to bring all the equipment out there. To be honest, every time I bring all my podcast equipment through the airport, we always add like an extra 20-30 minutes of like people stopping me and asking me questions. Like all my mic, it's mostly the mic stands. The mic stands, they literally look like bombs. Like if you look at it,
they look very questionable.
Yeah, if you look at it through an X-ray, they showed me the images. One of the dudes last time when I think we went to Hawaii, the dude showed me the images and he was like, look at it. He's like, it looks like pipe bombs. And I was just
he
like,
started laughing.
I was like, oh shit, you're right. But yeah, basically, so like it's just such a hassle to bring the podcast equipment. People always think I'm bringing explosives with me. It adds all this extra time and all this stuff. But we wanted to pre-record it. We wanted to pre-record it on Wednesday. It didn't happen, and then we wanted to do it on Thursday after Disconnected, but I ended up getting super fucking sick.
Yes.
Like just ridiculously sick, and I just couldn't. I had to go to sleep immediately, and then the Fridays when we went to Hawaii, and then that whole day I was basically like sick as hell.
Yeah, well, before like in the beginning of the week, I think like Monday is when I started feeling sick.
Oh yeah, Rylee first
and I was
started
like,
feeling sick.
shit, like no, I can't be sick, because like when I get sick, I last a couple days like being sick. I'm not just like a one dayer.
We did actually recently, both of us got sick maybe a couple months ago, and it was like a 1 day thing. It was like the
same kind of sickness,
but
too,
it was one
like.
day, remember?
Yeah.
It was like one day we were both hella sick, and then the next day we felt fine, and I was like
slept.
I was crossing my fingers hoping this would be another one of those.
Well, yeah, so after I got home from work that day, I was like, fuck no, there's no way I'm gonna be sick going to Hawaii. I like slept as soon as I got home when you were on stream, and I think Doug was here.
Oh yes,
and
Doug
I was like, I'm going to
through?
sleep. I do not care. And, like, I just went to sleep, and then I felt so much better the next day. And I was like, I hope you do not get sick. And you're like, no, I was feeling sick like before you were feeling sick. So I think that I'm cool, and I probably got you sick.
Because before even Rylee got sick, I was getting the sniffles, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to get sick before this Hawaii trip. I hope this goes away. And then it went away, and then the next day Riley's like, I'm sick, and I was like, oh great, I got over my shit. Now Riley's sick. Then Rylee got over her shit. Then I got sick again, and now Brian Arnett is sick, even though I haven't even talked to him.
Everybody in the office got sick though.
That's true, and I wasn't.
Or not everybody.
I don't want to, throw anyone under the bus here, but guys, we all went to a Halloween party. Damn near every single one of us, except for Adam. We all went to a Halloween party. Everyone that's involved in No Jumper, and someone was sick there already. Someone had already showed up and said they were sick, and then I got sick, and then Blasey, Housefell, and everyone else got sick, and Scumbags as well. And also and Rylee, but it all started from that Halloween party.
Yeah, I think it was from the Halloween party.
Which is so, I don't know, just understandable. Dude, even before COVID and all that stuff, it's like that's always been the thing, which is like after events, there's always a couple of people who end up getting sick just because, you're dealing with hella bacteria and just hella random people and shit like that. But either way, apologies for not pre-recording the episode of Tent Talks before we went to Hawaii. We literally couldn't. And then the next day, I came home from Disconnected.
And it was like a long-ass show, so we got home late. We ate. We had to pack.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, we had to pack, and then
hella shit to do. We didn't go to bed till like 3.
Yeah, but I was also trying to go to sleep as soon as possible, and it was just like we were in too much of a rush for me to also be like, all right, now let me pack the podcast equipment, because that's its own whole other thing where I have to get all the wires. I have to disconnect hella shit here. It's like its own whole like hour process of getting all that stuff packed.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, so we just ended up not doing it, and I super apologize for that. And then also I was also saying that once we're out there we would stream.
And I was hoping to stream too.
But also that did not end up working out. But Rylee and I were talking about it, before we started the Tent Talks, and I think I talked about Disconnected too, where like I was naturally just having this thing where I just wasn't on my phone. And this is what Rylee and I were talking about before we started Tent Talks, which is like out here in LA, if I wanted to relax, I guess, maybe I could just sit at home and play video games all day, but people will say that's unhealthy. Relaxing is really just like, going to the beach or going on a hike or something like that. And technically, quote unquote, relaxing in LA is a little bit more difficult. You have to go out of your way to relax. But I noticed when we were in Hawaii, you kind of have to go out of your way to be on a computer and on a phone. At least the Airbnb we were staying at, they had like no TV. They had one small TV that, they said didn't work consistently, and it was in this other room, and we had to use my laptop to get the TV to work. And like, I didn't even go on YouTube or Reddit the whole time. I usually go on Reddit like, I don't know, 5-10 times a day. But
Jeez,
the whole time,
that's so bad.
the whole time I was out there, I didn't even like. I wanted to go on it, but every time I thought like to go on it, we were doing something, we were busy, like, and I was just like, it just was inconvenient basically. And so I just noticed when we were out there, just being more tapped into the internet world was an inconvenience. But when you're out here, being more relaxed and not tapped in is more of an inconvenience. It's easier just to be like on the internet out here, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because it's just, I feel like everybody out there, like all their hobbies have to do with like being outside kind of, or like having to do with the hospitality industry where they're like helping out tourists and serving tourists,
That's
so like
true.
I don't know, obviously like it's probably harder to keep equipment out there and have service.
Exactly.
Like that kid you were showing me who was like, he went back home to Hawaii and he's like, this place sucks.
Oh yeah,
'cause I can't do
Michael
anything.
Reeves.
Yeah.
I was telling Rylee, like, I found Michael Reeves' YouTube channel when he still lived in Hawaii, and I don't know how many subscribers he had at the time, but he was doing like the laser eye, video and all this stuff, and then like later on he ended up moving to LA and blowing up. Actually, he blew up hella fast on YouTube. I remember he was talking about it where he made, I think his first video blew up already. I think the laser eye pointing video was the thing that already blew him up, and it was his first video. And I think his first month was just like, oh guys, I already hit 50K. Oh, I'm at 100K. Oh, I'm at 200K or whatever. And then he just like moved out to LA. But yeah, I remember that he lived in Hawaii and did all that stuff out there. But then also, Rylee and I were just watching a video about living in Hawaii and shit, and the dude who was making this video, he was saying like, oh, it's hella hard to get batteries out here. He's like, a lot of companies that won't even ship camera batteries. So he's like, me as a YouTuber, he's like, it's hard for me to buy extra batteries sometimes. It'll take months for it to get to me, if it even does, all this stuff. And I was just like realizing even though it's United States and, they still have Amazon and all that stuff, it still is different. You know what I mean? Like, it's not completely super tapped in. But that wasn't the reason why we didn't stream. We could have streamed. We were just like hella
We're just enjoying it.
Exactly. It's like also the other thing is the first time we were out there, the whole experience was just such a like moment. Not to say that this wasn't the same way, but this time around it was more on the back of my head of like, oh, we've been here before for the same amount of time,
now we
and
can enjoy it.
And time flies. So I was really trying to think like, we got to make the most of everything. And we're gonna talk about everything we did in Hawaii, but literally every day was, first day was Friday. Actually, we should get into it now.
Well, yeah, like our first time going, it was kind of us just experimenting, and like we just did our own research. We didn't really have any help from
That's true.
people because
Well,
none of my friends ever been to that island. So
Did we do research, or did you do
And
your
neither
own
has my
research
dad.
for my birthday?
I just did it my own on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You did all your own research. I didn't know anything.
Yeah. So
I just knew Hawaii.
But then, like towards the end of our trip, the last time we met two locals there, Elvis and Abdul.
Shout out to Abdul and Elvis.
And so it made our next trip so much easier because we had both of them. And actually, it's crazy because Elvis moved out to LA like a month after we came back from Hawaii the first time. And the weekend we went out there to go back, he was out there too.
Just coincidentally. And you know what's even funnier is maybe a month or two before your birthday, I messaged Elvis because he's the homie. He's from Hawaii, and I was asking him for advice about what to do, and I was telling him keep it a secret. Rylee doesn't know yet that I'm planning to go to Hawaii, and I was asking him, I was like, when's the next time you're gonna be out there? He's like, I don't know, dude. He's like, I'm definitely. He said for sure. He's like, I'm not gonna be there around that time. So he didn't even think 2 months ago that he was gonna be there. And then it just became this like emergency trip, I guess, for him to go help his mom with something. And he ended up going the same time we did. And then we ended up linking up to go on our second day, I believe, which is the hiking trip, which we have a lot to talk about there.
Yeah.
That shit was really cool. But either way, I already talked about this a little bit during one of my live streams the other day, but the whole beginning of the trip started off like kind of rough, to be honest, because like I said, I was already super sick. And for anyone out there, that's been sick before, which is everyone, there's like a certain cold you get where your whole body becomes sore. You know what I mean? Like your joints start aching and like your back hurts and like any injuries you've had before start like throbbing and shit like that. So I've noticed this before, like sometimes when I get sick, my whole body becomes sore. And on Friday when Rylee and I were heading to Hawaii, I was definitely like feeling hella body pain. And I don't fucking take pills or anything like that. Like I smoke weed, I guess. And we smoked weed at our apartment. We smoked weed at our apartment before we took an Uber to the airport. And so that was like an hour. By the time we got on the airplane, I was already 100% sober. So the whole 5 hours I was sitting on that plane, it was just like complete, body pain with no, medical, pain relief, I guess, or whatever it is. But it was even worse because I got our tickets through Expedia. And it's not me trying to be cheapskate Yuriy, all this stuff.
No,
It's
you didn't know.
It's literally, I've never purchased plane tickets before. And then also my mom, my whole life, anytime we've done anything, she's always like Expedia.com or one of those websites that like bundles everything and like gives you deals or whatever it is. So she's always been on that stuff. And when I told my mom I was trying to look for plane tickets, my mom was like, do Expedia, and she was sending me all these links and shit. So I ended up going through Expedia. Our first flight to Hawaii was through United Airlines, and I guess we didn't check in ahead enough of time, and Rylee and I couldn't sit next to one another.
Thank God we checked in when we did.
Yes, because at least when Rylee and I did check in, all the seats were taken. It was just a bunch of random little one seats in the middle, like of the plane and shit. And there was these like two seats where they were on the same row, but they were not close to each other. So I was like, at least let's be in the same row. That won't be as bad. So we ended up getting those two seats, on the same row, but we're still sitting apart from one another. And my Rylee's seat was the window seat on the left of the plane, and my seat was like in the middle of the right side of the plane. And I talked about this on stream when I went to Texas to go meet up with Ice, like a month ago or a month and a half ago. I was flying by myself and I grabbed the window seat, and I also realized that was a mistake. If you're flying by yourself, grab the aisle seat. Fuck the window, dude. Who cares, man? Who cares about watching the plane take off and set? It's so much nicer to be able to go take a piss without bothering people. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather be the dude who's like, all right, go ahead, wake, like have them wake me up to go take a piss rather than me tapping on someone's shoulder like, please wake up, can I go take a piss? Like, it's so annoying. So I'd rather have the aisle seat. Anyways, I grabbed the window seat when I flew to Texas, and two dudes sat to the right of me, next to me, and it was two gay dudes, and those dudes were chill. They were hella nice, and they were we like at one point in the beginning of the flight, we like conversated a little bit where they were like, nice hair, like blah blah, all this stuff there, because I had just dyed my hair purple too. And then we were just like talking, they were like asking like, why'd you dye your hair? And I was like, oh, I was on stream. I was like explaining all this shit, and we like talked a little bit, and they were so cool, so chill the whole time during the flight. If I had to get up and use the bathroom or anything, like these dudes had like they were like working the whole time with the laptops or something, but they constantly had like coffee and laptop out all the shit. And every time I asked them to move, they were like, oh yeah, no problem, let me put everything away. And they put all their shit away every time, like no complaints at all, just to let me go use the bathroom. But this time when Rylee and I were flying to Hawaii, I sat down in the middle, and I was kind of hoping like I was thinking like, I'm sitting in the middle, so these two people sitting next to me probably don't know each other. 90% chance. If you guys did know each other, you would get seats together. Why would you get seats apart? You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense, unless they were hoping that no one would sit there and they could put their bags there or something. Yeah. But at that point, you would still want to sit next to one another. Anyways, I sit down in the chair, and then some dude walks over, and then I'm like, yo, and I see him about to sit down next to me, and I'm like, yo, dude, I'm like, sorry, man, sorry to ask, but like my girlfriend's sitting over there. I was like, you mind switching seats with her so that, we could sit with one another? And the way he replied immediately was like, he said, he's like, that doesn't make sense for me. He's like, my boyfriend's coming right now. Like, so that doesn't make sense for me. Sorry. And like, Ew. It was like that, dude. And immediately my first interaction with this guy was like, damn, dude, like, sorry I asked that question, but why you gotta be like slightly sassy and like
Zesty.
Yeah, zesty and rude and shit. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, doesn't make sense for me, sorry. And I was just like, all right, whatever. And then I just sat there. And I sat there for like 10 minutes before his boyfriend, quote unquote, came. And I was already thinking.
I know, he took so long to come.
And I was thinking, like, are they not? Did they not come here together? And later during the flight, I heard them talking. And no, they did not come together. This dude was like, he's like, I'm always on time. And he's like, I knew you would be late. That's why, blah, blah. Like, I left separately. Like, all this shit. It was so much shit, dude. But
I saw them kiss in the alleyway. Or the
later on?
Yeah.
Bro, they were a strange couple. But anyways, I asked the dude, he said no. I sat down. His boyfriend later, like I said, 10-15 minutes later, sits down to the right of me. And then I'm thinking, they're gonna ask me like, hey man, you down to switch seats so we could sit next to one another? They didn't ask me once the whole time. I already asked this dude to switch seats. He was an asshole, so I was like, I'm not asking him again. This is his boyfriend. I just didn't even want to ask. I was like, fuck it, whatever. Hopefully they'll ask me to switch seats, and neither of them wanted to do that the whole time. And then on top of it, the dude next to me on the right, it's like a really small plane, and there's only one like little thing to rest your elbow on, and it's skinny as fuck. So I'm like sitting there like this, and I have my elbows right there. And then at one point, the dude next to me, he's like trying to sleep and has his like sweater over his face, and he's doing this thing with his right hand, like he's going like this, like trying to shoo my elbow off. And I'm like looking. At first, I think he's tapping me, trying to get my attention. I look, and no, he's laid out, like shooing my elbow off. And I was like, what? I was like, hell no, dude. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm asserting my dominance, dude. I'm fucking keeping my elbow right here, dude. I just like kept chilling. And then later on, like an hour later, like he had already woken up. I had my giant ass backpack in front of me, and there was like, I either had this option of keeping my feet right next to me, like in this 90-degree angle, or having my feet out.
It was tight.
It was super tight. But depending on, I had my bag, on at my feet. So depending on where I wanted my feet, I had to like switch my bag around. And at one point, I wanted to scoot my bag forward so I could put my feet like closer to me, like and just like chill like this. And there was no space to do it. So all I had to do was like put my right foot over. I didn't even like intrude his space at all. I just put my right foot over a little bit and grab the bag, push the bag over, and then I put my foot back in. And I'm like thinking, all right, it's over, I'm fine, like this is what I wanted to do. And then he tells me, he goes, excuse me, he's like, you see this right here, don't cross this boundary right here, blah blah blah. And he like makes this invisible wall and tells me don't cross over it. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was like, okay, whatever. It's like, I'm a super non-confrontational guy where I'm not gonna be like, what the fuck, dude, blah blah blah. It's just like, it's so dumb. But in my head, I was like, I feel like I'm in an episode of like Seinfeld, dude. Like, what the fuck is going on right now? Why is he tripping about me moving my bag, dude?
I cannot believe you had that experience.
And not only that, the whole time, like I said, my body was sore.
I know.
So the whole
and you're in the middle. You can't lay your head
dude,
anywhere.
exactly. I can't lay my head on either of their shoulders, and I'm like, I'm sore as fuck. Just like, like basically. During that flight, I was like, bro, I cannot wait to land and go straight to our Airbnb and lay down for like an hour or two. I was like just thinking about that the whole time. And then I looked over to Rylee, and she just like giggling, laughing with her fucking seat partners. I was just like, well, of course Rylee gets the good experience and I have the shitty one.
Yeah, I was like, hope. So as soon as Yuri's aisle mates or row mates came through and he asked them, I was like, okay, I'll ask the people who come to my row, but if it's a couple, then I'm not gonna ask them because it's gonna be like pointless. They're not gonna want to separate either. And it was like this old cute little couple that came to my row, so I texted Yuriy, I was like, can't ask them to move, sorry.
Because I had texted you, I was like, can you ask your seat partners or whatever? And then you replied saying, like, no, I can't.
It's bad. But they were so cute. Like, they were just joking as soon as they got on the plane, like, about crashing.
Yeah, you said they were joking about crashing?
Yeah, he's like the little safety pamphlet thing that they have behind the seat. The grandpa was like, he's like, we got to read this just for when we crash. And then she just started laughing.
Oh my God, cute. Bro. What the
She's like, no, I trust it. Blah, blah, blah. She kept talking to me throughout the trip, like asking me like if this is my first time going to Hawaii, how many days.
Was she wondering why your boyfriend's sitting across?
She's like, yeah.
She's
like, is your are you with your like boyfriend or partner? Because I think she saw like the other couple in the row in your row. And I was like, yeah, no, my boyfriend's in the middle over there. She's like, oh.
Interesting. You guys don't want to sit next to each other. All right.
She's probably thinking some weird shit.
Dude. Yeah.
But no, she was like super sweet. She was going on like a luxe vacation though. She was going to like every island.
I know you told like, and they're spending 10 days on every island, which is
well, not 10. I think 10 days throughout her whole trip.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like, dude, honestly, anytime, it's always during airports, trains, and, like, maybe, like, restaurants when you start having these thoughts, when you see, like, elderly people, you know, maybe, like, 80s, 90s, and you're, like, have these thoughts of, like, oh, I might be that age one day, you know?
I know.
We're all going to be old one day.
That's what I kept thinking.
And when I was, like, looking over at them, like, he's just, like, this old, dude, eight times out of 10 that I looked over, he was asleep. He was just like...
I was going to say, the first time I had to go to the bathroom and I had to ask to, like, get up, he could not get out of his seat because the guy was, like, the guy in front of him was reclined too far. And, like, he literally couldn't get out of his seat. He was, like, a tall, old man.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt so bad.
I saw that.
And I had to, like, tell the other guy in front. I was like, can you push your chair up really quick, please?
And did he?
Yeah, he did.
But, dude, I saw that. At one point, I see Rylee standing up, and I'm looking over, like, oh, she has to go use the bathroom, but... neither the grandma or the grandpa stand up, and Riley's just like squeezing past, and the grandpa's face is like right here, and Riley's ass is like right there, and he just like looking straight at it, and I was just like, what the hell's going on over there, dude? What the fuck?
Really, he couldn't move.
And then you told me, and I felt bad, but at first I was like, why is Rylee just squeezing her ass in front of this dude's face, dude? What the fuck?
Gramps was poor Gramps. Yeah, no.
But when I was looking over them, because I saw there were a couple too, I just kept thinking like, dude, like at one point it could be me and Rylee, just fucking old as fuck, sitting on this plane to Hawaii because this might be our last trip ever. Like,
oh my god,
bruh.
No, they have plenty more years.
Wait, let's take this. The last of this remnants. This is like a quarter shot.
They were so sweet.
Yeah, shout out to the sweet couple. Cheers to you guys. But, anyways, weird long flight story aside, I have to give a huge shout out to the homie Abdul, which we met last time we went to Kona, Hawaii, and I had made this last time we went. I made this Instagram message saying, if you live in Kona, like, you know, hit me up, like, let's tap in. I didn't bother doing it this time because Kona is such a small place that we basically know the only two people that know us is these two guys. So one of the dudes we met was Abdul, and when I had made that, I made reservations to rent a car, and I've talked about this before, guys. If you're gonna rent a car somewhere, I guess unless you have the extra money and you really don't care about, like, you know, dropping a giant bag, like, you know, just rent a car at the airport. But if you really just want to save a quick, bro, like $200-300, rent a car from like 2-3 miles away up to 5 miles away from the airport, because you're paying for convenience, you know what I mean? So and then also I didn't make this decision because I was trying to save money. The main reason I made this decision is because the last time Rylee and I went to Hawaii, we noticed that the best car to have out there is like a 4-wheel drive all-terrain vehicle, like a Jeep or some sort. And last time we tried to get a Jeep, it didn't work out. This time I found like a Jeep rental spot that, like I said, is like 5 miles away from the airport, but their price is like, for how much we got the Jeep for, if I had rented a car at the airport, we would have got like a Toyota Yaris. You know what I mean? Like, it was like literally that, it was that equivalent of price or whatever. But when Rylee and I landed, we had to find a way to get from the airport to the Jeep rental, and the Jeep rental place told us to call a taxi. I hit them up, and they were like saying it would be like $35 for like a 5-minute drive, and I was like, damn, $35 is kind of insane. I was like, let me hit up the homie Abdul and see if he's down. I hit up Abdul. I was like, yo, Abdul, I'll throw you $20 if you're down to pick us up from the airport. And Abdul's like, yeah, I got you. And he ended up scooping us up in this truck. And it's only a 2-seater truck, driver and passenger. Obviously, Rylee, I don't want her sitting in the back of the truck, so Rylee got...
I said I'm down for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Rylee got passenger, and I hopped in the back of in the truck, of like the flatbed truck with our luggage, and that was so cool. That was immediately like a fun experience to... I've like filmed some vlog footage of it. And
Hawaiian style, they were saying.
Oh yeah, that's what he was saying. He's like, welcome to the Hawaiian style. I was like, sick, because it's legal out there. You can't do that in LA. You could do it in like Texas and a couple other states, but you could do it in Hawaii. But anyways, he scooped us up. Took us to our rental place. We got our car, and then he was like, yo, like, let's go, have some beers and smoke and chill. And then he took us to like this sick ass beach spot that's literally as soon as you get off the airport, it's like literally almost basically right there. But if you didn't know to go there, you would not have gone there. And he took us to the sick ass beach spot where you're like parked on these like lava rocks, and the ocean is like 5 feet away from you, and you literally just like park up, and you could just chill and smoke and drink right there, right by the ocean, like right by the rocks. I was like, yo, this is so sick.
We left LA in like hoodies and sweats because it was so cold in the morning, and we got there, it was hot, we were sweating and dying, but it was like so nice to go to the beach. We just changed and like had a couple White Claws, but we had to kill a lot of time because our Airbnb check-in was hella late. It was like 4 o'clock, right? This
is the only time I've ever had this experience with a hotel or Airbnb, where usually a check-in is like 11 or 12, usually 12, but this Airbnb check-in was 4 p.m.
Yeah, it was pretty late.
I was like, yo, it's kind of crazy.
And Yuri felt like shit.
Oh, yes, exactly. Like I said, I wanted to land and go lay down as soon as possible, but we landed, and, Abdul's positivity and his good vibes just, like,
so
immediately made me forget about the whole plane ride. I was like, fuck yeah, we're in Hawaii, dude, we're chill. It felt so weird to be back.
It felt like we had never left.
Exactly. Like, it's strange. Like, because you're on a plane ride, you're not, like, doing this huge trek or driving this long, drive to get there. You're just, like, sitting there the whole time, and you don't really feel like it's like that big of a mission. You're just sitting there for 5 hours. But Hawaii is a far away ass place, and like it's so weird to return the second time to the same area, and just it almost feels like a backyard at this point. We're just like, oh yeah, we've been here before, but it's like a whole exactly, but it's a whole different place. But anyways, later on, Abdul ends up telling me he's like, oh yeah, just to pick you guys up, he's like, I had to drive an hour just to come here. He's like, I live like an hour away. And then Abdul's such a cool, chill guy that like he's the type of we noticed this last time where he's the type of dude where like he does not like to overstay his welcome, and he's constantly like, yo, like you want me to leave, man? Like like if you want me to dip or you want to head out of here, like you want to do your own thing. Like he's always like trying to like just be chill, I guess, whatever, not like over like too much, I guess, of a person or some shit like that. But
he wants us to enjoy our time.
Yeah, exactly. There. And like he kept asking us like, you guys want to dip? I was like, nah, man, like let's kick it. We like ended up like chilling, smoking and drinking for a little bit. I really did not want to drink. I drank like half a White Claw because like I said, I was feeling like shit, and I was just like, yeah, I don't know, I wasn't really feeling it. But I drank like half a White Claw, and then we just like kicked it, ended up like dipping. We got some food. Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, we got some pho.
It was so good.
That shit was good, actually.
It was really good.
What was the name of that spot?
It was called Fuck Him.
Oh yeah, it was called Fuck Him.
Fuck Him.
And I was like, what? I was like,
K-I-M.
Dude, pho places are the most notorious for trying to do like the word flips.
I know.
There's in Beverly Hills, I'm not sure if it's still there, but there was a 90210 pho.
That's cute.
And there's like hella places in LA where they use pho or pho and like they remix in some word.
The fucking.
And the fucking. Oh my god! And that place was called like Fuck Him or whatever.
Yeah. Well, no, it was Fuck Him, like K-I-M.
Yeah, like, Fuck Him. And I was like, bro, of course. What the hell? But anyways, that place was super good.
I just typed in pho on Siri, then I like pressed go, and it said directions to Fuck Him. And we're like, what the fuck?
It's funny because we were arguing at that time, and you were like, let's go to Fuck Him restaurant.
That was a lie.
I'm kidding, but anyways, yeah. So, what I wanted to say about the whole Abdul thing is like he ended up telling me like, bro, it was an hour drive for me just to get here, but he wasn't telling me like trying to guilt trip me. He was just like letting me know. I think I asked him like, how far away, you stay away from here. He's like, oh, it was an hour drive for me to get here. So at that point, I was like, nah, dude. I was like, I can't give him just $20 for this giant ass 2-hour voyage to pick us up. So I was like,
manual truck.
Yeah, in the manual truck. So I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm gonna give him $40. I was like trying to save money on the taxi, but I would have way rather spent the $40 to get picked up in the back of Abdul's truck. That was way cooler than that taxi.
And he took us to the beach and got us White Claws.
Exact. That's what I'm saying. And then also we ended up taking that taxi that we tried to avoid on our way back, and it was so uncomfortable in there, dude. And that guy was so rude. On top of it,
he was rude.
He seemed like a military like agent or some shit. He was so like matter of fact, and like no jokes go with him at all. I was like, damn, bro. Like, I'm so happy Abdul picked us up instead of this fool, dude.
Such good vibes.
Yeah, but anyways, the first day, I felt really bad, but Rylee and I were only there for 4 days, basically from the 4th to the 8th, and I was feeling really bad, but I was telling Rylee like I need to go chill for a second, like, and try to regain my energy. And Rylee was like telling me, like, she's like, just go to sleep and just spend the whole day sleeping and we'll do stuff tomorrow. But I felt so bad. I was like, no, dude, we spent so much money just to come to Hawaii. I was like, I don't want to spend my whole day sleeping. So I just like chilled for like an hour or two. And then I was like, let's go to downtown Kona and like go walk around and do something. So we ended up just like going to.
Wait, we didn't even get into our Airbnb.
Oh wait, should we talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So after we get the pho, we're like finally ready to go check in. And Yuri had already shown me pictures of the Airbnb before, and it looked beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't expect it to be like as crazy big as it was. Like we drove 15 minutes up this like hilly area.
Oh yes, to get to our Airbnb, there's only the Big Island or hills are not like the Hollywood Hills at all. Like I'm used to driving in LA, and I've spent a lot of time like finding smoke spots and just driving through the Hollywood Hills, just because I'm bored with my friends. And the Hollywood Hills, like there's rarely like a point where you're just at a dead end. There's always a connecting street, a connecting alley, or something to get you from one place to another in the hills. In Hawaii, it's like hella just one roads, and that's it. That's all you get. And if you do a left, it ends later on, or whatever it is. And to get to our Airbnb, there was 2 roads that took us there, and both roads were 15 minutes. So we're like perfectly in the middle of this mountain, where it was like when you see 15 minutes on a iPhone GPS, you think I could do it in 10. No, it's gonna take you 15 minutes every time. I've noticed that too.
Yeah, because there's no traffic.
It's hella hilly, hella corners. You can't, unless you're trying to die. You can't go fast.
Super fast.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, dude, the place that the one thing that Rylee and I kept saying is like, I thought, this is the most I've ever spent on Airbnb because I wanted to, make your birthday as special as possible because you deserve it. But the whole time we were out there, I kept thinking like, I'm surprised this place even isn't more expensive, dude. It was like, dude, you drive into this gate, you have to put in this like code into the gate opens, and then it's like this giant like El Chapo fucking property, dude. It's so insane. They said that like they don't rent the place to people who aren't renting a car. They're like, you have to have a car to get here, and you have to have a car to get around a property. And I was like, it makes sense. Like you can't even get in or out without a fucking car, dude.
No.
That place was humongous.
It was ridiculous. It was built on this like huge coffee farm that's like a working farm.
Oh yes.
And we found out that the owners of the Airbnb own like this restaurant in downtown Kona as well.
Called Papa Kona.
Yes. And so when we get into the Airbnb, we're like, what the hell? It's hella pretty. It's like all hippie.
Yeah, there's all this like
vibe.
tie-dye tapestry and like hella like hippie little touches. You could tell like they were like into this hippie lifestyle. And then I ended up finding this like poster along the stairs where the poster said it was like a
wedding invitation.
Yeah, it was a wedding invitation / advertisement for the owners of the house's wedding, and it was like Derek and Alyssa's wedding, and it was called Wedstock for like a branch off Woodstock. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, we're good to smoke here. I was like, fuck yeah. I was like,
it was like a 3-day event with yoga, dancing, food.
In 2012.
Yes.
When I was supposed to graduate from high school a long time ago. But 10 years ago, dude. They've been married for 10 years.
I know.
Imagine they're not together anymore.
They are, obviously.
But,
Woodstock.
dude.
Seems lit.
I was kind of worried because when I was reading the instructions or the description of this place, it said no animals and no smoking. And I swear it said no smoking multiple times, where I was just like, oh man, they might be serious about this. It's a farm, so maybe they're scared of fires or something. But as soon as we came there and I saw that it was like Wedstock and all this like hippie shit, I was like, bro, we could smoke a joint out here. It's fine. They're not going to care. And I didn't see, but we didn't get charged anything, right? I don't know.
They probably don't want no smoking cigarettes.
But then in the bathroom, it says, don't flush your cigarette butts down the toilet.
Yeah.
Why are you going to even point that out if we can't even smoke?
I'm telling you, it's probably inside the house. No smoking in the house.
Yeah. But either way, the Airbnb we got was like, it was super cool. What's funny? What I noticed was in the pictures are interesting. It's like, it's hard to really get a full feel of like what you're going to step into off a photo. And I think they were using fisheye photos for the living room, where the living room looked huge. It looked humongous in the photos. I was like, damn. I was like, this is hella space. And then they had photos of the bedroom. The bedroom looked big, but it didn't look as big as the living room. The living room looked humongous to me. And then when we got there, the living room was big, but it was like pretty like tight.
Narrow,
you know what I mean? Like narrow and tight. But when we went to the bedroom, I was like, Dude, it was like literally like our studio connected to our room together.
It was
And even
huge.
more space. It was like the whole top floor was one bedroom. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was like,
With 2 huge windows that like look over like the jungly
oh yes,
hills
Mhm.
and the ocean, which was so fire. It was
No, yeah,
so nice.
the view is so sick. I just kept thinking, I'm like, in Los Angeles, a property like that, I could easily assume like 50 million, 100 million, some ridiculous amount no one could ever afford. But I was like asking Elvis, I was like, how much do you think this place costs? And he's like, for sure $1 million. And I was like, you know, this sounds like very LA of me, but I'm like, $1 million? I'm like, that sounds affordable, dude. I could never afford $1 million property, but to think that costs $1 million, I'm like, bro, if you come to LA, you'll get a fucking apartment in downtown LA, you know, covered in shit for $1 million. It's like to go.
No, it's definitely over $1 million. That's probably like a $10 million property.
Yeah, right. I was like, bro, and that's what I was thinking. I was like thinking about how much we spent on per night. I was like,
He was just saying at least.
I was like, dude, I was like, no way we have this giant house to ourselves. The whole house is like the backyard, or like, I guess it's kind of like a backyard. You just walk around to the house. There's like a tiny little grass area where it has this nice ass view of the beach and shit. And then,
No, there was like I feel like there was at least 2 or 3 acres of land that they had.
yeah, I don't know how like exactly how much an acre would be, but guys, there's the house, and then there's like hella space of just coffee plants or, you know, coffee beans being grown, and you have to drive up this hill all the way around all these coffee plants, and there's all these like hiking trails and trees that go all around it, and then to the very top of the property is a hot tub. And I thought the hot tub was the top of the property, but Rylee and I were taking some hiking trails on our last day, and they go past the hot tub. It's like this property was humongous, bro. And as we're walking around, I'm like, there's no way you could just spend this little money and they just trust you to have this giant ass place and not do anything stupid. Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
One of the trippiest parts to me of the whole trip was I posted on Instagram our first day. We were just like, we saw this one hiking trail in our backyard or whatever it is, and we're like, let's go down there. We walked down there, and we saw a fucking cocoa bean
Oh
plant.
yeah.
Like one of those beans that they make chocolate out of. And I was like, I swear that when I've seen videos about this plant, it's like in the middle of a endangered
random.
rainforest that no one can touch or get to ever. You'll never see this in your
Charlie and
life.
the Chocolate Factory.
It
vibes.
looked like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like when I saw that in person, I touched it. I was like, bruh, I never thought in my life I would touch a cocoa bean. This is like, this is insane.
They also had like these giant avocados.
Oh, dude, yes.
Can you talk while I go pee really quick?
Oh my god, the avocados were insane. When I was reading the description of the property, it said, it said a couple things that I want to get into, but one of the things it said was like, we have, I think it was like a selling point of theirs, but they were like, we have a new species of avocado that was recently found only to grow on this property on this island. And they were basically talking about how on this island there's like, you know, a bunch of other coffee farms, and everyone just grows avocados, all these other plants, and all these different species have been emerging, and they have their own species on this coffee farm that produce these giant ass avocados. And they left one of them, I think they purposely did it, but they left one of them like outside on the table. And bro, this thing was so huge that, like, to be honest, if you were walking under this thing and it fell on you, it would be like almost like getting a coconut dropped on your head. Like, you would probably get a concussion, pass out, die, or some shit. Like that shit was really fucking insane. We ended up not even eating it because it's a giant ass avocado, bro. Avocado usually takes like, I don't know, 3 days to soften up. This thing we left out ever since, you know, it's been left out ever since we got there, and it did not soften up not once the whole time we were there. And you can't even take it back home with you because you're not allowed to take any plant life back home from Hawaii, which is like, I thought that was kind of strange. I don't know why. Like, not even an apple. At the airport when Rylee and I were leaving, you have to go through like the agriculture check, where they literally scan your backpack and look for if you're taking home seeds or plants or anything like that. They're super strict on it. And next to the dude who's like running the machine, he has a whole bucket of like pomegranates and apples. And I realized, like, dude, you can't even take an apple home from Hawaii. You can't even take anything. And I was talking about how we couldn't take the avocado, even though I would have wanted to.
I wish we could have.
The avocado was huge. And then also later,
We made a mean guac.
dude, you could have made like fucking 18 guacs out of that shit, dude. But later, Rylee and I noticed that some of the properties have warning signs that say, do not walk under the trees because of falling avocados, because Imagine that thing fell on your head, dude. You'd die. It would
That's
it would crack your skull. And like it's not even a soft avocado. It's like
hard as
it's
hell.
like fucking hard as a rock, and it like they grow hella high. They're super huge, and later Rylee and I realized it says like do not walk under the trees because you could fucking get hurt, hella hurt by one of these avocados. But either way, the first night, like I said, I lay down for a little bit. I try to regain my energy. I felt a little bit better, and I was like, let's just go grab some dinner and go walk around at least downtown Kona.
yes.
And that was a really interesting experience. What did we get for dinner?
We went to
Was it Huggo's or
Yes, Huggo's. It was like right by the beach. We had like steak dinners, right? You had a steak dinner. I got like short ribs.
Well, here's
short ribs and shrimp.
Rylee and I tried to go to this restaurant the last time we went to Hawaii, and we ran into the same issue where I'm not against fish, but I've never really ordered fish at a restaurant, and their whole menu is 99% fish.
Yes.
And there's like,
and I'm not.
and the only thing that's
person.
not on it that's fish is steak. And I really did not want to get a steak because I was not feeling too great. I couldn't eat the whole thing, and we eat steak all the time. Or we could eat steak all the time at home. It's like I want to try something unique out there. But it was just all these like fish dishes, so I didn't know what to get, so I ended up getting the steak. Wait, what did you end up getting?
Short ribs.
Oh yes, the short ribs.
And shrimp, which were good.
Did you finish the whole thing?
No, it was really rich. Like after that meal, I was like, "Fuck, this was like super a lot."
Really?
But the rest of the trip, I feel like we didn't really eat like that crazy.
No, I know we really didn't. That was like the only thing we
That was,
spent
like,
a lot of money on for food.
And it was like kind of not my favorite meal.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I know, but the one thing I'm kind of bummed about is I didn't get poke again.
I know.
But honestly, I'm getting Pokenometry. Guys, I've said this before. This is obviously not a sponsorship. We never get sponsorships over here. But guys,
Not with that attitude.
in Los Angeles, at the Hollywood and Highland Mall, there's a place called Pokenometry. And I have to say, I've gone to like 10 different Poke spots in LA. That is the only one I enjoy, and like it is so fucking good. Last time when Rylee and I went to Hawaii, I tried poke. Their poke is like way different, where like they have it like it's more just raw fish, I guess. What's it called? Sashimi, where you're just like eating like just raw cubes of fish and has like some seasoning on it, salt, pepper, I guess, whatever. But Pokenometry, they drench their shit in like spicy seasoning and all that stuff, so like it really has a lot of flavor to it. But in Hawaii, it's more of like a more fishy taste, which is I feel like why I didn't really fuck with it.
I would not like that.
Yeah, exactly. I knew you for sure would not fuck with it. It also has this crazy texture. I don't know. Their shit's just way more natural. Well, not natural, but fresh. Yeah, it's like
That's good though.
Everyone's fishing out there.
It's just not for me.
Yeah, not for me.
Shrimp is like the craziest I can go. Shrimp and lobster.
Dude, I used to be such a big fan of lobster when I was a kid. It used to be like such a huge delicacy for me. I used to love it when my parents would randomly cook up lobster, but now I don't like lobster, dude. It's like it's so rubbery and flavorless. I only like
You have to put hella butter on it and garlic.
But that's the thing. Like I was gonna say, you either do the butter thing, which I don't really like the whole lobster butter thing. I like the lobster. What's the red sauce?
Cocktail sauce.
Lobster and cocktail sauce, but I only like the cocktail sauce. I'm only really eating the lobster because I want to taste the cocktail sauce. So I realized I don't even really like lobster. I just really fuck with cocktail sauce.
You don't like a lot of seafood. You just force yourself to eat it.
No, I don't force myself to eat. You freak yourself out. You're like, oh my god, I could never taste that. Blah blah blah.
I'll eat certain things.
No, you won't try my caviar bread.
No.
Yes.
I don't want things bursting like that.
It doesn't burst, dude. It's so good. You don't understand. Anyways, okay, so there's a couple funny things that happened this night after our first night in Hawaii, after the dinner. First, we just started walking around downtown Kona. We like smoked the joint or whatever, and then I see this like community center type thing, but their doors are open, and then like through the open doors, I hear hella people chanting like hey 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 or some shit, and then I look in and I see like fireballs spinning, and I was like, babe, we gotta go in there, like let's go. And Rylee was like, no, she's like, it's
I was like, I think this is a private event.
And I was like, the doors are open. And like, here's the thing with me is like, I would rather like test it and apologize rather than not even like rather than be like oh no we can't, you know what I mean? I'd rather just go in and
ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Exactly. I'd rather go in there and then someone say what are you doing here, like oh just watching the fire spinning, like oh okay, you know, deal with that situation rather than just like walk past and be like oh that's cool whatever. But Rylee and I ended up going in, and it was so cool.
It was a public event.
It was a public event. It was like at a police station / the old Kona airport, which is kind of crazy because it was like a tiny little. There was like no
little
space there.
hall
Yeah, it was like
thing?
and that was the old airport apparently. It's so small. But anyways, when Rylee and I got there was like these 8 to 10-year-old like kids who were spinning these like fire sticks, and I was and Rylee and I were just like watching. We're like, holy shit, dude! I was like. My whole life, my parents have always told me, don't play with fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And these kids are just like...
spinning it with their feet and shit.
Yeah, spinning at one point, the kids like lay on their back and put the flaming part on the bottom of their feet and like hold the flaming part on their feet and then like kick it up and catch it and shit. I was like, holy shit. Like, it takes everything that with skill takes practice and takes failure. Imagine...
Failing,
getting a fire stick to like the face.
Oh,
just because you fucked up or some shit, dude.
Mm-mm.
And also they cover the stick in some sort of flammable goop, you know what I mean, like, and I would imagine it's like a Molotov cocktail where like if it sticks on you and it's burning, like getting it off is probably hard. You're just gonna spread it. It's like grease, you know what I mean? It's like flammable grease.
But it's easier for them to like pinch it off.
You think so?
Right.
Oh, what, just like cover it or some shit?
That's what they kept doing.
I don't know. I bet you those kids, like, one of the first lessons is like fire safety, which is like, what do you do if you get, you know, fire grease on you, or like what to do in those situations. But that shit was super sick. And then after we saw those kids perform, some like other kids start performing who were like maybe like 17, 18, and they were going way fucking crazier, flipping the sticks.
It was like pretty. It was impressive.
They were standing on each other's like they're standing
thighs.
on top of each other's thighs, like making a stack while also spinning fire. Like they're doing hella crazy
going
shit.
Crazy, and then they all came together, the little ones and the older ones.
Oh yes. Dude, I don't know. I'm not sure if you noticed, but the older ones, one of them, all of them like come out originally. They come out with this like the stick where only one side is on fire. And they'll do this thing where they'll either grab the side on fire and their hand will set on fire, and then they'll set the other end on fire, then put their hand out. And but also I noticed that one of the dudes, the older dudes, he like licked the fire, had a fire on his mouth, spun it, and then set the other end of the stick on fire with his mouth. I was like, yo, I was like, bro.
They were crazy.
I was like, I can't imagine practicing that, dude.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder what the goop is.
Shit, I don't know what, just some fire grease, I guess. I'm not sure. Whatever's the safest thing for them to use, I guess. I don't know.
It was crazy though. It was cool.
But yeah, that show was a super cool experience. And at the end of Rylee and I stood there and waited. You know, we watched the whole thing. And at the end, they're like, give it up for our high school students, you know, who are performing. I was like, these are high school students? Like, this is like an extracurricular activity out here? I was like, that's sick. Mm-hmm. What do we have in LA? Football, baseball, track?
Yes.
Fire spinning on top of it? That would be so sick. They would not allow that. Kids are too stupid out here.
Yeah,
to be spinning fire.
I'm sure there is like little clubs here and there that do it, but you definitely do not see it out here like that.
No, that shit was super sick.
It was cool.
But the last interesting thing to happen that night, or I thought it was like pretty interesting and funny, was like Rylee and I, we left the fire event. We're on our way back to the car, and as we were walking, some dude was like walking a little bit faster than us, and he was like passing us, but passing us slowly. And when he passed us, like I guess he passed me kind of close, so like we kind of looked at each other, and he like looked at me, turned away, and then did this double take, and then he looked at Rylee, and then he's like, "Oh, Tent Talks, I fuck with you guys." and we were
like, "What?"
It was so like just casual and strange. Like for the fact that it happened in Hawaii made it the fact that he acted so casually made it even weirder.
I know.
You know, like if I saw someone in Hawaii that I recognized, I'd be like, what the hell? Like, what are the chances? We're both out here. Like, what the hell? He was like, "Oh, Tent Talks, what up, guys? Like, I fuck with you guys." I was like, yo, that's so random, dude. And then
he's like, "Yeah, me and my girlfriend, we watch you guys."
Oh yeah, shout out to that dude and his girlfriend.
And Yuri's like, he looked super Hawaiian. He looked like he was Hawaiian.
Like, okay, so we know Abdul and Elvis, and they both grew up in Hawaii, and they're very like tan and dark skin, right? And it's not like it's like this like certain tan that you could see, you know what I mean? It's like this like reddish tan almost. And this dude had this like similar tan, and I was like, oh, are you from here? And he's like, no.
I'm from Texas. And we're like, oh, okay. Nice to meet you.
And I was like, oh, fuck, my bad. But
no, I'm from Texas.
But that's why but it wasn't just because of like his tan, it was because of how casual he was, you know, like I said, like he was from Texas and, you know, I'm from LA and we mean Hawaii. I was like, I would have been like, what the hell? Like, this is so random, dude. But he was just like, oh, I fuck with you guys. Like, you know, nice seeing you. Like, me and my girlfriend watched. Like, have a good night, guys. Peace. And then he just like walked away. Shout out to that dude.
That was funny.
That was super interesting. But then, yeah, Rylee and I just ended up going home, going to sleep. The next day was our first adventure day. And like I said, we only had 4 days out there. Technically, we flew in the 4th. And yeah, what's interesting when you fly to Hawaii is, at least for us, it's 3 hours behind us. So when we go there, we like gain time almost. You know what I mean? Like when we left at 9 a.m. here and we arrived at 11 a.m. there, when it's like a 5-hour flight, really. So that was like pretty interesting. We basically still had a whole first day. The second day, I really wanted to make the most of it because we really had 3 full days, and then the last day, you know, we have like half a day and then we have to leave. But on the first day, I was like, dude, we should go kayaking, which I've never gone kayaking before in my life. It seemed pretty simple. Yes,
and I have been canoeing once, but I did flip my canoe over, so I had like a bad experience.
Which I'm not exactly sure here, but Rylee and I were trying to talk about the differences between a canoe and a kayak, and I think that a kayak is it's like unsinkable. Kayaks like they're made to take in water. You know what I mean? They're made to filter through water and like stay afloat. Where canoes, they're made to stay afloat, but they can get full of water and sink. I think that's the difference. I'm not sure. It feels like it.
We'll have to do some research.
I know. We should have done this research before. But I was
still down to do it.
But anyway, so, okay, you know what's funny is I hit up Elvis, and I was like, yo, Elvis, like, can you refer me to a good kayak renting spot? Maybe he could save me some money here. Because I looked online, and I saw a place where Rylee and I can get a 2-person kayak for, like, $60 or $70 for the whole day. And I was like, okay, that was my price range in my head, was $60, $70. And I was thinking, let's see if Elvis could maybe save me more money or refer me to a place like that. Elvis told us to go to this place called Kona Boys. And we went to Kona Boy. We went to the first location, which is like right in the touristy location of downtown Kona. There was no parking, so Rylee stayed in the parking lot and I walked over to the stand. I don't think I told you this, but when I walked over, it's this like white dude with like long blonde hair, and he has this like super surfer vibe, and he had really dry lips and these like fucked up like meth teeth. And
oh my God.
And the way he was talking to me and like darting his eyes around, I was like, yo, I was like, I think this guy is fucking tweaking right now, dude.
Oh my God.
And it was kind of strange. And then he was telling me the prices and everything, and he was like, we wanted to go to Captain Cook, and he was explaining to me, he's like, you can't go there from here. You have to go from this other part of the island where we have this other Kona Boys location. He's like, go there. So Rylee and I ended up just leaving that spot and going to the other location to go rent a kayak.
Yes, and once we got there, Yuriy gets out of the car for a bit and starts talking to this guy, and then I follow him in like shortly after. And when I was coming in, this guy's trying to like convince Yuriy to get on a tour with him like a couple of days later, and he was making this trip seem like super scary and
and this is the importance.
We could die.
Yes, and this is the importance of doing research, guys. You can be easily influenced by anyone, especially when you go to a place you've never been before, and someone who seems to be living there, you know, tells you, you know, cautionary tales or whatever. You're like thinking, I should take this seriously because he stays here or whatever. But I did some research about the kayaking thing because that was the number one question in my mind, which is, can Rylee and I, 2 unexperienced kayakers, go kayaking safely in the Kona coast or, you know, whatever bay we went to? And all the information I saw was basically, yes, you can do it. It's completely fine. It's not that big of a deal. It's not dangerous at all. And whatever danger there is, the same danger is there when you're with a tour guide, because he's not sitting in the boat with you rowing. He's just telling you what to do or telling you to follow him. You know what I mean? So just like it's the same danger is there the whole time. Realistically, maybe you can have more people with you to save you. I guess that's the best thing. But I had done some research. It seemed pretty safe, and it seemed like it would just be a better thing just for Rylee and I to do our own thing, because we wanted to take time to explore. With tours, like, you have to go with the crowd, and maybe we like this location more than that one, and everyone's going to that one already, and Rylee and I want to spend more time here. That's what I was really thinking about. So when I was talking to this dude, he was like telling me all these horror stories, like, oh, these swells and these rocks and the waves and people drown.
Do not go by the rocks. He was like making it so scary.
What's funny though is he kept doing this thing where he was like, you can die, but I'm not trying to scare you.
Yeah.
But you can die, but I'm not trying to freak you out.
Like, Mother Nature gets the best of you. You never know what could happen. I was like, okay, and you're really starting to freak me out.
Exactly.
And he was like, no, don't be scared. I was like, why would you say that?
That's what he was playing these like mind games where he would be like saying these like gnarly things like people get lost at sea and you'll never find them again, but it's safe, it's cool though. And you're just like, is it safe or is it not safe? Tell me. But he would keep telling you like, I would suggest doing the tour with me, but you could go by yourself, but you can die. But also, it's
it was
like
so annoying. I was like, dude, you're giving me anxiety. Like, I did not know what to do. He was making me not want to do it at all.
I could tell. I talked to Rylee on the side. I was like, babe, we could do this. I was like, trust me. I was like, this guy's trying to freak us out. I was like, he wants us to take the tour. If Rylee and I went by ourselves, it would have been, and it's like, I'm not trying to save money in spare of our safety. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like going like, oh, this, like, let me save $30 here so that, we could save my money, but it might be more dangerous. Like, I'm not thinking that way. I'm thinking more of, I want to have a funner time. Mm-hmm. And I was telling Rylee, I'm like, dude, we can go ourselves and I think it's pretty safe, or for $100, or we can go with this dude, not right now, tomorrow at noon. We have to leave, come back, and it's $240. And Rylee's like, all right, let's go by ourselves. So I was just like, yes, that was cool. The only thing I was worried about is getting the fucking kayak on top of the roof of our car. That was the only thing I was worried about. There was other stuff to worry about later, I realized. But the main worry I had was, how the fuck am I going to get this heavy-ass thing it was so heavy, onto the roof of the car and off? And thankfully, he was like, don't worry. He's like, I'll help you load it up and all that shit. And he's like, there's people down there. Give them a couple bucks and they'll help you unload it. And luckily, Rylee helped me unload it. So that went pretty well. And you didn't break a nail either.
I know. Not till the end of the trip.
No, not till we got back to LA,
no,
right?
It was the last day.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, it was the last day. But anyways, yeah, he helped us load it up. We took the kayak down to the bay. And here is like the beginning of the interesting part. The bay, there's where Rylee and I were trying to go kayaking, we're trying to go to Captain Cook's Monument, which it's known for having the best snorkeling, the cleanest water, and like just cool places to check out, like one of the coolest places to check out on that island. So we wanted to go there, but there's only like 3 places or 2 places to actually put your kayak out into the water, because they're super like protective over the reef and the wildlife. And if people are just throwing their kayaks off like random beaches, they'll be destroying the corals and all this shit. So they made specific places to release your kayaks. And the place where Rylee and I went, it's like really tiny. It's like a very, very small portion like of water, and then also it's completely surrounded by rock. So once you leave that area, it's like it's invisible. You have to go all the way back in to see it, type shit. And anyways, Rylee and I got the kayak out. We went out kayaking.
We get to like the middle of the ocean. We're getting pretty far out, and then I'm starting to look out, and we're like getting kind of tired, so we're like chilling, and we're like in the middle of the ocean. I'm just like breathing hella hard, like trying to calm myself down. Like I was getting scared.
Because if we flip, we're far away from the like beach.
Yeah, I guess. And it's deep.
And the waves are like 4 foot, like, it seems pretty calm, but every time the waves go up, it's pretty high.
He's like, you want to smoke? I'm like, not right now. I'm like, not right now.
I had pre-rolled hella joints for us for the trip too.
Let me chill for a second.
But okay, so what's funny is when you like cast out your kayak, like I said, it comes out from this tiny little nook or cranny in the like the mountains or the shore, and as soon as you come out straight to deep sea. And they tell you, go straight across. Don't, like, they say you can go across the shore, but it'll take you way longer and it's more dangerous for the corals and shit. So they tell you go straight across. When you go straight across, it's just across like the middle of the ocean. And immediately Rylee and I were running into this thing where we're both on the same kayak, and we both got a row, and we were just like, we were losing rhythm.
I'm thinking I'm doing fire. I'm like, yep. Yep. And
I kept clinking fucking things with you, and I was like, babe, come on, dude. Like, we gotta keep the same rhythm. And we were like kind of getting into these like small little arguments of like, come on, babe, like we gotta row. And then
this is why we would be hilarious on the Amazing Race. We'd get into so many arguments.
And then I was like thinking in my head, I was like, I'm just gonna start shouting left, right, and then Rylee was getting annoyed by me, but I was like, left, right, come on, babe.
We got a good rhythm going.
And you were like, babe, I got it, leave it, like stop. That shit was hella funny, but we ended up getting the hang of it. Halfway through, once we like got more comfortable, realized it was pretty chill, we got like halfway through the bay. In the middle, I was like, let's chill right here, I'll take out the joint, let's smoke a joint in the middle of the ocean off this bay. And we ended up chilling in the kayak and smoked the joint right there. That shit was so sick.
Yeah. It was definitely scary, but it was cool.
It was super cool. I told Rylee
it was so beautiful.
No, yeah, it looks so sick. It was like one of the best places to like smoke a joint and just chill. But I was telling Rylee that I really wanted to film a lot when we went out there, because it's our first kayaking journey. It's such a beautiful place. But dude, number one, I didn't even talk about this, but when we were releasing the kayak, it's not like a chill grade beach. It's like hella rocky, and it gets hella steep immediately. So you basically have to hop into the boat and like, you know, be half submerged type shit or whatever. So yeah, look, be hella dangerous. There's like urchins everywhere and all this shit. So you got to be hella, careful. It's like not that easy to get in the boat. But when we were getting into the boat, because, you know, we're doing this ourselves without a tour guide, we have to secure all of our shit. And we had like this one watertight bag. And with us putting our watertight bag, our snorkeling gear, our shoes, our snacks, all this stuff, it was so much shit to keep track of, and I was like getting overwhelmed. I was like, bro, if we flip, we're losing everything. There's no way I could catch all this shit. It's just all like delicately sitting on this kayak. I was like, bro, this is dangerous.
But we got out super easy.
Yeah, exactly. Our beginning journey was like way chill.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rylee and I ended up like, going out there smoking that joint. We continued rowing. We got to the Captain Cook Monument, and when you first
we got there fast.
Yeah, when you first start that journey, and when Rylee and I were looking at the distance, we were like, dude, in my mind, I was like,
we're gonna take hours.
Yes,
we're gonna be out here for like 4 hours.
I for sure thought when I first looked at that distance, I was like, this is a 2-hour journey, and I was thinking, we have no shade, the sun is blaring right now, we're gonna get cooked on the water. I was like worried about a bunch of shit, but it took us like 20-30 minutes to do that whole thing, and I was like, in my head, I've never kayaked or been on a boat like that, and I was like, you cover some good distance, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we started moving fast.
No, for real.
We got the hang of it.
100%. We could like go around the whole island, I feel like.
Fuck no. We got tired hella times.
Yeah, we did, but you just chill.
But no, so once we got to like the monument area, and Yuriy and I decided like, okay, let's try to go in and snorkel. I've never snorkeled before.
And on top of it, they tell you are not allowed to put your boat on the beach or on the rocks anywhere. They're very hyper protective of everything. And if you want to get out of the boat and swim around or snorkel, you have to go from the boat and get back into the boat. There's no getting onto pier to make it easier. And we're like, damn, okay. We were worried.
I'm like definitely going to tip this shit.
That's what I thought. I was like, we're going to tip this boat and lose everything. And at that point, I think I already tied everything to the boat. So we're not going to lose everything. Everything just gets soaking wet, which is, not that big of a deal as long as we don't lose it. But we were able to do it. Like, no problem.
It was easy.
Yeah, with 2 people, it's way easier. Like, Rylee, as Rylee was jumping out of the boat, I was like counterbalancing it. And then I got out of the boat, and then when Rylee was getting back into the boat, I was like holding it, counterbalancing it. So it was like really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it was easy.
But what about the snorkeling? The snorkeling was insane.
It was like, I've never done it before, so looking down in that water for the first time, I've never seen like a coral.
Dude.
What'd you call that? Coral reef?
Yeah, coral reef.
Area. You look down and you're just like kind of freak out because like kind of scares you because it's like, damn, like this is what's underneath me right now. Like you can't tell from just looking from the outside. Even though it's clear water, it does like if you put your goggles on and you look below, it's just like, what the fuck?
I had the same because Rylee got in the water first.
I like had to get up. I was like, oh my God. It was like crazy.
Rylee got in the water first and she looked under the water and then she came out. She was like, oh my God, babe. She's like, you have to look. Like she was like I could tell you were freaked out. And I was like, oh shit, let me go. And then I hopped in the water, put my goggles on, looked underneath, and I had the same experience of like as soon as I looked, like it was like 5 seconds of fear where I was like, holy shit, there's so many fucking fish, and it's all this live coral that's all spiky and sharp, and we were far away from it. It was like 10-15 feet below us, but you can see it right there, and it was like kind of weird, just it's like you're jumping into a whole different ecosphere, you know what I mean, like, or ecosystem, you know what I mean, like it's like we're just a part of this like fish's world for a second, and it's like kind of scary for a second. Then you get over it. You're like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah,
They don't.
Oh, now I have
They
to
feel
go
indifferent
closer.
about you.
Yeah,
They really don't care.
it was so cool.
I was kind of worried. Some of the fish, I don't know what the names of any of the fish are, but one of the fish had this like super colorful, like almost this like chromatic like skin or scale where depending on where you look, it changes colors and shit. But the fish had these giant as buck teeth, and the fish was like this big. And I was like, dude, that thing could fuck me up if it really wanted. And I was getting kind of worried. I was like, dude, like, should I not get close to this? I was like, are we? And that was the other thing is I didn't know anything about the fish life or the, wildlife. And I was thinking like, are we allowed to see this? Like, is this okay for us to be this close to this? Like, that was the weird part. You know what I mean? It's like not knowing what the boundaries are.
No, they do it every day, all day.
Yeah, exactly. But I do have one thing that I feel super bad about, and it's like I already talked to multiple people and locals and other people, and I've told them the same story, and I've gotten the same answer every time, which is, Yuri, things happen, don't worry about it. It wasn't purposeful. But something happened that I still feel so bad about to this day, which is, like I said, you look down this beautiful coral reef. They're so overprotective about it. They tell you to be, super careful and all this shit. And Rylee and I are just like, snorkeling, kayaking around, and we're both out of the boat at this moment. And the boat is just like, shaking around from the waves. And at one point, my snorkel fell out of the mouthpiece, fell out of the boat. I didn't even notice it. Rylee told me, she's like, babe, your snorkel fell. And I was like, I was just turning around. And I was like, where is it? And I looked in the water, and I think I saw it like fall a little bit, but I didn't. I was trying to put my fins on at this moment, so I wanted to put my fins on. And then basically my snorkel fell out of the kayak and sunk to the bottom. I immediately put my fins on, and I was like, babe, I'm gonna find this thing. Like, I'm gonna feel so guilty if I don't get this thing out of the water. And like I said, the water we were in was like 10, 15, 20 feet deep, and I didn't think about this. But this is like kind of common knowledge with submerging underwater. You can't go super deep out of nowhere. You have to slowly like keep getting your body used to the pressure and like holding your breath and all that stuff. I put on my fins, held my breath, and I just went as deep as I can go trying to look for this thing, and I just started like I could hear my skull cracking, dude. Ooh. I started feeling like hella pressure on my skull, and I started feeling like a little bit lightheaded and dizzy, and I was like, I'm getting out of here, dude. And I started realizing like I could just pass out right now, dude. I was like, I super fucked up. I should not have gone this deep out of nowhere, you know what I mean? But I got out of water, caught my breath, started feeling a little bit better, tried to go back down, look for it. I looked for for it for like 10 minutes. I could not find it. And then it
was gone.
And
it was aloha.
It was aloha. And I felt so bad. I still feel so bad, dude. I've poisoned the fucking coral reef.
I was telling Yuri, I feel like there's diving teams that clean.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. They have to have diving teams that go there to film, and they'll just see shit and they'll pick it up, or they'll have people who specifically clean. But then also I did notice watching footage of professional divers who go to that area, they all do that. When they're all diving down there professionally, they always say like, oh, I saw this little piece of plastic, so I picked it up. So people, it's not even their job, but when they see shit, they just pick it up. So I'm just praying to God, hoping that someone sees my snorkel and fucking gets it out of there.
Me too.
I'm sorry, Hawaii. I'm sorry. What was the mountain's name? Pele. I'm sorry, Pele.
Volcano.
I'm sorry to the volcano, Pele. I'm sorry to the coral reef. I feel so bad about it. But anyways, we kept snorkeling around. We chilled for a bit. I feel like we should have stayed longer, dude.
I know, but it was already gonna get.
Rainy. Rainy, dark. But I was getting worried that I was like, dude, I don't know how long it's gonna take for Rylee and I to get back. All this stuff. I didn't want to get stuck in the ocean at night. That's what was my biggest fear. So we ended up just like.
We got back at the perfect time, honestly.
Yeah, but no, actually no. We had time to drive, go get food, get home, and then the sun set. When we got home, I was like, oh, we could stay in the water way longer.
No.
But we realistically snorkeled for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then we just immediately started heading back. And this is where things got a little bit interesting. And this is where like kayaking and like ocean traveling requires a level of common sense and intelligence, you know, where you really got to be about like, you got to be paying attention the whole time. You can't just be all willy-nilly like, hey, we're having fun. Oh, where are we? You have to be knowing where you are the whole time. So Rylee and I, we look, the Captain Cook Monument from where we started was like a dot, dude. So when we're at the Captain Cook Monument looking back, there's no monument to look at. We're just looking like, where do we come from? I guess right there. Like, let's go that way. And then Rylee and I start kayaking over that way. We take another smoke break, we chill, and then as we start getting closer to the, you know, where we should be landing, Rylee and I start realizing like, oh shit, the sun looks like it's setting, the waves are getting stronger, and then also the place where we went, where we thought the landing was, it was not the landing. And then I started freaking out. I was like, oh shit, like I started seeing like all the rocks, all the waves crashing on the rocks, all the violent, you know, waves and shit, all the, you know, everything going on. I was like, bro, like we can die right now. In my head, I was like, bro, this is dangerous. I was like, we have to find this fucking.
I was not thinking that at all.
You didn't think it's dangerous? Like we could.
No, I thought it was dangerous, but I was not thinking we could die right now.
Dude, I was thinking we could get swept. Well, I was for sure thinking highly, you know, we could there's a high percent chance of us losing everything in our kayak, but I was really thinking there's a chance we could get swept out to sea and die. But at that point we didn't know where to go. We were kind of lost. I was saying we should go this direction, we went that direction, and then Rylee and I started messing up the flow of the paddles on the kayak, and we were arguing, and I was just like, babe, get it together, we gotta do this. Like,
I'm trying.
I was like, babe, we could die. I was like, this is serious. I was like, we have to do this.
I'm like, you don't think I know this is serious right now? You don't think I'm scared?
Bro, yeah, it was like an intense moment for a second, but we went this one direction where I thought it was. We got like halfway there, and then Rylee's like, it's not here, we should go back the other way. We went back the other way, and then I was like, no, it's not here, let's go back that way. And then every journey is like 10-20 minutes, and then we went back the other way, and then I start seeing these people like on the edge of the cliff, like either cliff jumping or just chilling there, like with their beach chairs and shit. And I start screaming, help, help, and Rylee's like, stop screaming help, you're freaking me out.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
I was just gonna scream to them, be like, yo, where's the docking station? But I was trying to get their attention. I was like, yo, help. And Rylee was like, stop screaming, you're scaring me, you're freaking me out. But we ended up we kept paddling the direction I thought we should go.
It's past these rocks.
Yeah, we went past the rocks, and then we found it, luckily, at the end. But we were there was like at least 45 minutes of us being lost, freaking out, and I thought we were losing everything and gonna die.
Yeah,
it was intense.
I was definitely a little nervous and stressed.
And what's even
by the captain
in
the back.
The captain does go in the back in the kayak.
Does he?
Yes.
Oh.
So the front does not lead. The back leads, I believe. They said put the weaker person in the front. That's what they said. Anyways,
you fucked up positions.
Oh, really? When Rylee and I finally docked, there was this dude who I guess runs like these other tours at that place, and they have like a whole table and canopy thing set up or whatever, and he sees us coming in, and I was telling Rylee like, lift the boat. She's like, I can't. Like,
there was like an oar right there, and I was about to trip. I was like, no. I was like, babe. And then it fell. I like almost fell, and then this guy like helped.
Yeah, this dude ran over, and he's like, I got you, and he helped me like carry the boat over to where I needed to carry it over to. And I was telling him, I was like, bro, I'm so glad me and my girl got here, because we literally got lost right now. We didn't know where to go, and we thought we were going to get stuck out at sea at night. And he's like, at least you guys got here. He's like, I just had to drive 45 minutes away or some far distance away to go pick up these people that I sent out that got lost at sea, and they ended up like way down the fucking island at another beach. And he's like, I had to go pick them up right now. He's like, at least that didn't happen to you. I was like, oh my God. I felt better. I was like, okay, we're not that big of idiots.
We figured it out.
Yeah, we figured it out. We got to the thing. We returned the kayak on time.
Yeah.
But that was a cool experience. And I have to say, at the end of the day, even with all the like shit that happened at the end where I got all worried, I would still recommend people fuck off the tour and do it by themselves, because it was so much better, dude. Like, actually, I don't know, unless you're really interested in hearing the information, and
information.
and the dude's telling you, how old the reef is, like all this history and all that stuff. Unless you're genuinely interested in that, I get that would be worth it. But in my mind, I wanted to. First, Rylee and I thought that with a kayak, we could just kayak to any beach, pull over, and just fucking have a beach day. But that's not the case. You're not allowed to do that. Once you kayak, you go from that one spot, and
there's a route.
Yeah, it's not really a route, but you can't do those things. There's like a barrier of how far you can go. There's all these fucking rules and shit. But I forgot what the point I was getting to. But I was gonna say I recommend it regardless, because in my mind, what I wanted to do is just for us to have our own experience, have our own day, and be able to smoke weed on the thing and not worry about other people, and that's what we got. It was way cooler.
Yeah, I loved it too. It was fun.
What I would say for anyone that goes to that location or any other location where you're kayaking for the first time, take like hella mental notes of what the place looks like as you're leaving. Like that's what I didn't do. Rylee and I left, and I kept looking at the Captain Cook Monument, and we were rowing that way.
We had the map.
Yes, but I should have been like every 5 minutes or 2 minutes looking back, trying to see what it looks like from this distance, and take mental notes, be like, this looks like this, when we pass the rocks it looks like this, that would have helped so much. That's what I didn't do. If I had taken hella mental pictures and mental notes to remember later and be like, oh no, we're going the right direction, this is what it's supposed to look like, then it would have been way easier. Neither of us did that. We just got on the boat and just went straight without even looking back once. So
that's true.
That's kind of what happened there. But
idiots.
What did we do the rest of the day? The rest of the day we were hella tired, exhausted. We survived some crazy shit. We got some burgers, and then we went home and enjoyed our hot tub that whole night.
Yes,
that shit was so
nice.
chill. And at one point, I just realized, I was like, we have this the first night it was weird, being there, we're getting used to it. This was our second kind of full night there, and I was getting more used to it, and I was realizing there's no one else here, dude. So
I was like that.
Okay, all right. Well, okay, you know what I was gonna say is, Rylee, before I met you, I was never a naked sleeper. Maybe it's because I lived with my parents, but I was never a naked sleeper. You put me on to sleeping naked. I forever sleep naked now. It's way more comfy, and it's way better. And then we were hot tubbing, and then Riley's just takes everything off, and I was like, fuck it, I would take everything off too. And
it was a good vibe.
And then I was just yo, this is an interesting experience, having your own hot tub and no one's around, and just being completely naked.
It was Yuri's favorite part of the trip.
And I kind of started taking that luxury to the extreme.
It's very extreme.
Where once I realized I don't have anything to worry about, I was like, why do I even have to throw my shorts back on? And then once I got back to the house, I just didn't get dressed. I just stayed naked the whole night. I'm walking around everywhere. We were just we walked around the property, smoked the joint, and I was just this is so free and liberating. I was like, this is the best, dude.
Ditto.
That was a cool experience.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. That's your phone. But the last night, so the last day we had there, which was our last full day, I hit up Elvis, and I was like, yo, Elvis.
This wasn't our last full day.
Well, actually, wait, what did we do? Oh, actually, no, you're right. What did we do the last full day? Oh, the beach day. You're right. So this was our second full day. The next day, I hit up Elvis, and I was like, yo, Elvis, you're in town. And I knew he came in town to, do some family stuff, but I was like, if you're free, if you're down, could you take Rylee down a cool hiking trail? And when Rylee and I were doing research, there's all these touristic places they tell you to go, like Rainbow Falls and Okaka Falls and all these other places. And there's this one off the beaten path place, and later we realized it's private property. You can get a ticket if you go there, so it's better to go with a local who knows what they're doing, and they could probably get you out of trouble. But there's this place called Narnia, and I've never watched the movie Narnia. When I think of Narnia, I think of snow.
Yeah, there is snowy scenes.
So I was always confused by them calling this place Narnia, but the footage Rylee and I saw before we went to Hawaii, it was basically, we went there at a good time, but apparently people have gone there during a wetter season, because we saw at the location, there's like 2 waterfalls. It's super cool. It's like this like rock in the middle of this giant waterfall that divides into 2 waterfalls, and then there's like another waterfall to the side. But the footage Rylee and I saw like before we went, some dudes went there and they had like 3-4 waterfalls coming off the other sides. So I guess it must have been like a way wetter season or whatever it is. But it's basically just
there
like
was like 5 waterfalls
in like other locations, but it didn't look exactly the same as when they went. So I realized like we went at a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of shit, but I feel like with more water it would have been more dangerous, harder to get there, and probably the water would have been even colder potentially. But anyway, so Elvis is like, I asked him, I was like, can you get us to Narnia? Elvis said, yeah. He's like, I know how to get there, and he tells us, he's like, it's actually private property. You can get a parking ticket or get your car towed, and if you get caught there, you can get a ticket. So there's all these things I was kind of worried about. I was like, oh fuck. But he seemed like he said we should still do it. So I was like, whatever. I was just like, I'll just trust him. And then, fuck it. If we get our car towed, that would suck, I guess. I don't know. But it'll be part of the experience or some shit. So I was just thinking like, I'm willing to take the risk for this hiking trail. So he was like, let's go. And it was an 1.5-hour drive to get there. We were on the big island. We were in the Kona part, and it was all the way on the other side called Hilo. So we had to drive all the way across the island, which takes an 1.5 hours. We finally got there, and we found a pretty good parking spot. I felt like we would not get a parking ticket there, but we parked there, and then we just started the trip. Dude, one of the immediate amazing parts is like everything's so lush and green, and like all the plants look so healthy, and like they have these giant leaves and shit. And at one point, Rylee and I were walking through this hiking trail. Elvis is ahead of us, and he just grabs these like tiny like almost like cherry tomato looking things, but they're like fruit. They're like yellow. He grabs them. He's like, hey guys, these are a wild guava, try it out. And I filmed it on my Instagram story of him giving you one, and those shits are so good, dude. It was
so good.
It's like some bomb ass like
sweet
kiwi type fruit, and they're everywhere. After he pointed it out, I like looked around. I'm like, yo, these things are everywhere. He's like, yeah. He's like, you could just grab them and eat them. I was like, this place is amazing, too. Like, can you just like live off the land and not go to the store
Probably.
ever? You think so? Just eat guava all day?
Wild boar.
Yeah, if I hunt wild boar and eat guava.
Yeah, no. It was an easy start of the trip.
Oh yes.
The trail.
It was a super easy start, and then we get to this one point where Elvis is like, all right, this is like the beginning of
it gets muddy as fuck, and we're like, whoa. Like,
you have to be willing to sacrifice your shoes to the water, or it would have been better to have water shoes. It would have been way better.
Yeah.
But the main thing that I really liked about this hiking trail was like, I like rock climbing. I haven't done a lot of natural rock climbing, but I've done like building climbing, like and getting on top of fire escapes and doing all that stuff, and I kind of like the feeling of trying to find a good handhold, trying to like, it's kind of like a chess, it's like almost like a puzzle you're trying to figure out of like how to safely get your your body over this thing or whatever it is. It's like really fun, and it's like a mental / physical challenge. And this whole hiking trail was like, it was a hike / rock climbing thing where Rylee had to climb down and up like hella dangerous shit. And you have to like walk across rivers. There's so much to explain. We're gonna drop the vlog very soon where you can see all these details. But at one point, you get to this like cliff where there's like a roaring, or just not like a rushing river under you, and the river is like 20 feet of a drop off this cliff, and there's like all these rocks that are just like in the middle of the river, and there's one rock right here, one rock right there. This rock, to get to off this cliff, you have to like climb backwards off this like wet slippery slope, and the rock is like not flat, it's like slanted. So you have to land on it perfectly off this cliff. Or there's this other rock where it's the same situation, there's no flat surface to land on, and you have to kind of basically jump off like maybe 8 feet to 10 feet to land on this rock in the middle of this river, and if you slip you land in the water, and you could maybe twist an ankle or break some shit. So that part was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my god. I was like, Rylee would not be down to do this shit, dude.
And I was freaking out.
Yes. It took you, what, like 10 minutes?
It took me a little minute. I was doing so good the whole time because, like, I'm an easy hike type of girl.
Yeah.
And I was just really down to go see this waterfall situation. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to complain. Not going to do anything. And I was like, I was having fun actually doing the climbing and stuff. And then once we got to that spot, I was like, I can't Like
Yeah.
I was like, I thought I was gonna just have to sit there the whole time and like just watch from afar.
Really? You
I was
were
like-
ready to do that?
Yes, I was so scared that I was like gonna slip and fall and crack my head.
You could have easily, like
Yeah.
anyone could have easily, like that. Like it's hard to explain to you guys. You'll see it in the footage once I drop the vlog, but it's like a cliff, and you literally have to kind of like projectile, just push yourself off of it to land on this like rock in a river. And I was like, I went down there. It was pretty easy for me. I just like jumped down there.
You're
It was
good
like
at this shit.
it was like no problem. But once I got down there, I was like, babe, come here. I'll hold you. I'll grab
I
you.
was like, no.
And you're like, hell no, I'm not doing that shit.
Because you could easily slip by my weight distribution.
Yeah, I was thinking about them, and that's why I would not have told you come here if I didn't feel solid. I've looked around, I've found some footholds, and I put my feet on the rock, and I knew that if I held your weight, like I would be fine, or whatever. I was trying to convince you, but how did you end up getting down? I don't remember.
Your route.
Oh yeah, I helped you, but you did most of it yourself, really. Still, what was interesting is, like I said, guys, a lot of it was walking through water, mud, all this stuff. It was, dude, I've taken Rylee on a couple, on a good amount of hikes before, and usually Rylee with me, she hits me with this is way too crazy. Like, I don't know what you're taking me on. Like, she assumes that I'm gonna take her on some gnarly hike and like I'll let her fall to her death, and like she's always just like, no, like Yuri, she's like, you think I'm gonna do some crazy shit? Like, I'm not gonna do this. And I've taken you on some pretty chill one. Remember that random chair spot in the hills where like we had to walk up that hill, and you're like, this is crazy, but once we got there, you thought it was fine.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's, to me, out here, it's like the snakes and like rats
yeah,
Real
the
nice.
rats, really.
that I'm freaked out about.
Dude, actually, you know what? That's a really interesting part where, like I was describing, guys, like everything's so lush and green, and there's so much plant life everywhere. And this hiking trail, there are parts of it where it's an open field, but most of it is like you're fucking getting covered in plants and getting wet and like trying to push your way through plants. And I asked Elvis, I'm like, yo, Elvis, like in my
Is this chill?
in my opinion, like this is like the perfect ecosystem for snakes. Like there's all these branches and everything. Like when I think of snakes, I think of a place like this. And I was like, yo, Elvis, is there snakes? Like, should we be careful for snakes right now? And he's like, no. He's like, there's no snakes out here. I was like, what? I was like, no, wait, dude. I was like, there has to be some snakes. He's like, nah. He's like, we never have to worry about that. I was like, dude, that's kind of hard to believe, but I'll take his word for it. And we were completely fine. There was no snakes.
Nope.
But yeah, either way.
It's mostly like bugs and stuff out there.
Yeah, a lot of crazy bugs. Rylee and I finished the whole hiking trail. It was a whole experience on its own. Dude, like I said, if it were not for Elvis, there's no way in hell we would have been able to find this thing. Because as you're walking, like, you have to just be like, oh, I'm walking through these bushes now. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that going through these bushes will take me. It's like, there's no way if we were there by ourselves, I would have been like, oh, maybe we should walk through these bushes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it was just
lost for sure.
That's what I'm saying. And there's a couple of videos on YouTube. You guys can go type in like how to find Narnia in Hawaii. And there's people who try to show you. Those will not help you, bro. You need someone who's been there before with you to tell you like where to go, because it's such a weird convoluted path through like all these jungles and shit. Like
These rocks
and
certain
water.
paths to take.
But anyways, we got there to the end, and there was like this girl there, this guy, and this other guy. And the other dude, he was like, you could tell he was like a local. He had all these tribal tattoos, and he like, had the tan of like a person who grew up on the islands. And he was like already just swimming around, rock climbing and jumping, and they were like hella cool and welcoming. We said hi to them. And Rylee and I and Elvis, we sat down, posted up, started drinking some brews and shit. It was pretty cool. Like, we smoked the joint and shit.
Yeah, we're chilling.
The whole thing, the place where we were sitting though, it's all like, it looks like lava rock or something. It's very uneven and jagged. You're kind of like, if you slip and fall, you're
fucked
yeah,
up.
you're kind of gonna get fucked up really bad. So you have to be super. It's not a good place to get drunk, really. But we were just like chilling there, drinking and shit. And then the place where we were drinking, there was like a perfect cliff jumping spot where it was maybe like 15-20 feet to the water, to deep ass water. And I've always wanted to go cliff jumping, but living in LA, you never really see shit like that. And when we were there, I was like, bro, I kept looking at it, I was like, this is so perfect. And then that one dude who I was talking about, the local, he was like, come on, man. He was like, jump in, dude, you got this. And I was like telling him, I'm like, I'm not scared of the height. I'm like, the water is hella fucking cold, because we already went down there to touch the water. Rylee jumped in the water.
I had to jump in.
It's freezing cold,
it was
dude.
so cold. it was that cold where as soon as you hit the water, you can't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you have to catch your breath.
No, yeah, exactly.
So I had already jumped in. But when I first got there, I looked at the cliff and I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. But I jumped in and I was like, fuck, now this, like, cliff is making me scared.
Because
like,
the cold water, right?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I can
And
do
the
it
water
again.
gets
I don't
colder the
like
deeper
not-
you go.
I don't like not being able to breathe like
I
that.
don't think anyone does.
That scares me.
I know, but that like Rylee was saying, that cliff is like so, bro. Anyone looks at it, you want to jump off this thing into the water. It's so perfect, and it's so weird to have the cold water experience there because anywhere else you go to the waters in Hawaii, it's like warm, dude. It's like 70 degrees. You know what I mean? It's like you never have to worry about it being cold. You can go night swimming damn near every night in Hawaii, and it's fine. But because these are like waterfall runoff waters and like rainwater, I guess it's like refrigerated water type shit.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But I was like looking at the cliff and I just like kept thinking like I was like thinking in my head, dude, Rylee and I we went to Hawaii like 6 months ago, and when we went, we thought we are never gonna return, or if we do, it'll be years from now, you know. And I like never would have expected that, you know, we would end up going for your birthday, but I would just, like I said, I wanted to make your birthday special, whatever. So I was just like, all right, this is worth it. But when we were there, I was thinking like, we don't know when we're gonna be back here. There's no way this is gonna continue to be like, we go to Hawaii 2 times a year type shit. So I was just thinking like, I don't know when we're gonna be back here. Like, even though I really hate cold water, I was like, I will hate myself if I leave this place and not jump off this cliff into that water. But I kept thinking about it. And then also that local dude, at one point, like, I had walked over there and I was like talking to him and I like introduced myself and I was like, yeah, my name's Yuriy. I forgot what his name was, but he was like, oh, Yuriy? He's like, what are you, Russian? I was like, yeah, I'm Russian. And then he was like, privet, blah, blah. He was like, start talking to me in Russian a little bit. I was like, what the fuck? Like, where'd you learn Russian? And then he's like, come. And then at that point, once I like introduced myself and we were like talking to one another, he really was like pushing me to jump off this cliff. He's like, come on, dude, just do it or whatever. He's like, I already jumped off that cliff and all this stuff. He's like, I'll jump in with you. And he was just trying to hype me up. I ended up just saying, fuck it. I put on my swim shorts and I ended up jumping in the water. And it was like so sick.
How did you feel jumping in? The same feeling?
That shit was cold.
Yeah.
As soon as I got in there, I already, like, it's like a mental thing. You know what I mean? Like, I had to accept mentally I was going to be freezing cold, and I was like, fuck it, this will be worth it. But once I got in that water, the only thought in my head was, like, how do I get to shore as quick as possible? This shit is freezing, dude. It was so fucking cold. But it was such a cool experience. I really liked it.
It was amazing. It was so beautiful right there. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but like Elvis got like crazy drone shots where it just looks like magic, or like a movie set, or like a movie, like
Elvis
scene from a movie.
Dude, yeah, everything looks like a movie, like a Jurassic Park movie or some shit like that. But Elvis, he is so it feels like he's so reckless with his gear, dude. Like I said, the place where we're sitting, it's all these like super jagged rocks like layered on top of each other. So there's all these crevices. Like I could literally just drop my phone and it'll fall into a crevice where I will not be able to reach.
Yeah.
And we're like walking on top of this stuff and sitting there, and it's like, you can't drop anything or else it's basically gone. You would be lucky to be able to get it back. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna get some drone shots. Takes out his drone, just like puts it down and just starts flying it around like hella far, doing all this shit. Got all this like sick. Honestly, I should ask him for some of that footage to use in the vlog if he's down. But he got like hella sick footage and like lands it right back in front of us. I was like, bro, if I owned a drone, I would not do that, dude. I was like, that sounds like it just felt so sketchy.
I know.
But what else did we do? We just, after I jumped in the water, I came back out and I told myself, I was like, I did it once. The water was so cold. I was like, I do not want to do it again. But then that local was like telling Rylee, he's like, you should jump in too, blah, blah. And I was like, yes, babe, jump in. And then Riley's like, I'll jump in if you jump in again. So I was like, all right, I'm down. So I ended up jumping in again. And then Rylee jumped off the cliff into the water too.
It was so fun.
We have footage of that. But that dude filmed it and he didn't film that well, to be honest. I feel like he was not looking at the camera when he was filming.
It was fun though. That was a good. That was my favorite part of the trip, I think.
Honestly, same. And like, I'm such a bitch with fucking cold water, but I would be down to go jump back in there any day. You know what I mean? Just like, cause that experience is so cool. And then honestly, if I knew that we would have gone there with like more people, more friends, and we were gonna be there for like a couple hours, I would have kept jumping off that cliff, and try to do a flip or some shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
spend more time on it. But in my mind, I was like, it was so cold. I was like, dude, I just want to fucking do this, you know, and just chill and smoke. And then also it started raining,
Yeah.
hella hard.
We got scared.
I got worried. We didn't even talk about it, but in my mind, I was
We
like,
were not talking at all because we were trying to just figure it out. It was so slippery.
yeah, everything was slippery. Like I said, you got to climb shit to get into this place, and it started fucking pouring rain. As like and like as it starts pouring rain, all those dudes and the locals, they're like, we're out. They all left, and we're like, oh shit, maybe we should leave too. And then we started heading out. It continues pouring rain, and I was like, oh no, dude, this is gonna be a fucked up voyage back. But it was like a 10-minute rain, and then just like went away. But you know what's funny is on our way back, that same local dude, we came across him again at another, there's multiple waterfalls that you pass on the way to this Narnia spot, and he was at another waterfall where it was another cliff jump, but this one was like 25-30 feet, bro. It was like you're jumping off the roof of a building into water. And he's like, he sees us walking back, and he's like, Yuriy, come here. He's like, do this jump with me. And I was like, no. I was like, fuck no, dude. I was like, you're crazy, bro. I was like, I'm not jumping off that shit, dude.
He was crazy.
Bro, what's funny is like he was just so like trying to push me to jump off all this random shit constantly.
He's like, you're Russian, that's easy.
I know, yeah, that's what he kept telling me. He's like, you're Russian, what are you worried about the cold for? And then on our way back, he's like, Yuriy. Yeah, when I heard that random scream, Yuriy, in my mind, I was like, no way. I was like, Dylan, stream sniper Dylan.
Oh my god, imagine.
It was like that. It was like one of those moments, like
Stream
when Ice and I were hiking, we just heard Yuriy. I was like, what? And it ended up being Dylan. That's what it sounded like. I was like, where's this Yuriy coming from? And then I saw it was him standing on the edge of this like 30-foot cliff with water below him. He's like, come here, jump with me. I was like, no.
You're like, I'm good.
I was like, fuck no, dude.
Fuck you.
No, not fuck you,
I'm
but
just
just like,
kidding.
no, dude, you're insane. But I'm jealous, bro. That's like,
That's his backyard.
that's his weekend. That's him like, oh, you want to go cliff jumping today?
Oh, now you're jealous.
Well, you know, I wouldn't want to live there forever, but I thought that shit was so sick. That was really
Exactly.
cool. But you know what? Okay, so after that, we went to Ken's Pancakes.
Ken's or Kevin's or something? International Pancake House.
Oh, yes, we went there, and that shit was really good. Apparently, it was in a movie or two or something like that.
I think that just like a lot of famous people went there. Bruce Lee,
Oh,
The
yeah,
Rock.
Bruce Lee went there, The Rock went there. You know what's funny is I talked about this when I went to Texas, or when I went to Austin, Texas, and every time I talk to a random person in Austin, Texas, their biggest flex for the city, when I would say like, oh, you know, how do you like living in Austin? They'd be like, oh, it's great, Joe Rogan lives here. Like, that'd be the number one thing that I would always hear from everyone, which is like they would flex that Joe Rogan lived out there. I noticed out in Hawaii, it's The Rock and Jason Momoa. It's
Who's
like,
talking about Jason Momoa?
no one really, but I guess The Rock.
Yeah.
A lot of The Rock.
You're thinking about Jason Momoa.
It's a lot of people going like, oh, The Rock came here. Oh, The Rock actually went here. Oh, The Rock ate here. You're like, okay, so like The Rock
That's
is
what
like,
Elvis says. The Rock comes out there all the time.
that's like the biggest flex. But was he born out there?
I don't think so.
That's just like his vacation spot.
Probably. But it was a cool little diner place. It was cute. The waitress was really nice.
Yeah, it was super good. I got fish for the first time.
Was that good?
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it. It
Yeah.
didn't have any fishy taste at all. But as I was eating it, I was like, it feels like this was pre-frozen and like
Really?
was shipped here potentially.
Mm,
But I don't know.
could it be?
It was like mahi apparently. But
Mahi.
dude, Rylee and I dealt with this the last time we went to Hawaii, when we went across the island and we went to Hilo, because we both times we stayed in Kona, and Hilo was like on the all the way on the other side of the island, which is the rainy side, more like they get more rainfall and like it just more wet, I guess, and shit like that. But either ways, the last time we had done that voyage, we came across the same thing, which is when we were heading back at night, we were driving through like the gnarliest fog like I've ever experienced. Like, you have maybe 5-10 feet of visibility, even with like brights on. You can't see anything. It just looks like white noise all in front of you, and it's like a 60-mile-per-hour highway that's only 2 lanes that goes this way and this way, and it's like the sketchiest experience. And this time the same thing happened again.
It was so scary.
We like left Ken's diner, and it was already nighttime, and we hopped on the whatever that highway is called, And dude, that shit got so sketchy.
Yeah, everybody was like putting their brights on, so it was like scary going back, and then people had their brights on, so you can't see even more.
Yeah, well, those are idiots. Like a person with common sense, you use your brights until you see someone, then you turn them off. And there would be people would be passing by who would keep their brights on. I'm like, bro, now it's foggy and I can't see shit because of your brights. But dude, that like actually, you know what else I want to say is Elvis. The last time we were there, and also this time, he told us like this highway is the most dangerous highway we have here. He's like, a lot of people die on this highway, and I'm not sure if you noticed, but when we were driving to Hilo in the morning, there's a couple. Whenever someone passes away on the side of the road, they'll put a cross or something like that. We passed by many crosses, but not only that, we passed by numerous crosses where I saw people had pulled over and they were like paying their respects for mourning. And I saw at least on the way there, at least like 3 or 4 people who were like mourning on the side of the road at one of those crosses. And I was like, and it happened not too long ago because I see all these people mourning and shit. And then on our way back, we run across this fog. I'm like, bro, I can see why this is the most dangerous highway. They need to add like a barrier, dude.
I know.
They need to divide those 2 roads for back and forth. Like, they should not be so close to each other with 60 miles per hour, and it gets that foggy every time. It was so dangerous, bro.
It was so sketchy.
Yeah. Like, what do you even do? Just pull over, wait till the fog ends?
I guess, but no, you can't, because there's not really places to pull over. You don't even know where you're going.
Bro, you won't even see an exit, to be honest, guys. Like, the fog is that bad. It was insane. But you drive out of it too. It's weird. Like, you drive through like 10 minutes of it, it goes away. Then like there's 10 more minutes of it, then it goes away again. But I guess that was our whole day. We went home, had another naked escapade of hot tubbing and walking around. And then fun. Our last day was, honestly, every time we go to Hawaii, and I feel like I recommend this for anyone that does that, always plan one day to do nothing and have a beach day and just chill by the beach.
All day long.
And wait, let me take a bathroom break. But wait, no, let me go first. Okay, women first.
No, you go first.
No,
you go first.
No.
Please, just go.
No, people are gonna cancel me. They're gonna say Yuri doesn't let women go first to the bathroom.
Go.
Okay, all right. Tell them where we went though.
Okay. Can I pull the chat up instead and wait for you?
Really?
Yes.
Why? No, talk about it.
No, all right, well, go.
You have to reply to every single message you see in the chat though.
Oh my god, no.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it. P Talks. Hell yeah, Harmonious game. What up, Spliff? Manic. Swamp Dweller. Cheers. Faded as a hoe. Faded then a hoe. What's up, Elizabeth? Yes, W Jazzy for holding down the chat. How was that, by the way? What's up, World's Forgotten? How was the sleep stream? Was the chat getting crazy? Naked Talks. Interesting.
Alright, go for it. Let her rip.
Oh, yes.
Alright. I heard the toilet flush. Yeah, what do you mean? Why would I not flush the toilet? Rylee hates when I don't do that. She says it smells like piss. How much Tate does Yuri watch? Bro, I don't watch any Harmonious Tate. Goddamn, I don't watch any Andrew Tate. If I do, it's behind Riley's back, which she can't see at night. Who makes more? Wait, what are you talking about? Shout Yuri. Thank you, Scotty. Appreciate you. I didn't hear the sync run. My hands are still wet. The crevices of my fingers are still wet from washing my hands, so don't give me that. What the hell? What is this, cat hair? Rather she get matching hair. Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I should dye her hair. Where are y'all moving? Wait, what the hell? Oh yes, I did hear they got a new apartment. How's your night? Good, John Smith. How's yours, man? Top G, Bugatti, Fool. Also, guys, reminder, we're doing an after show like always, once we wrap up the podcast, which I'm not saying is going to happen now, but once we wrap up this podcast, we will end the stream and then immediately restart another one to get into the after show. Thank you so much, Pyro World. I appreciate you so much. Didn't wash your hands confirmed. Yes, I did, 100%. Can you please play my brand new song on stream? Young Orange, all you do is ask for your songs to be played in the chat, dude. I guess, maybe, I'm not sure. It's like, you have to remember, Young Orange, my streams aren't, it's not like a music critiquing a stream or type thing that I do all the time. So most likely if I play your song, everyone in the chat's gonna make fun of it, I'm pretty sure. All right. Okay, let's continue. What was I gonna say?
We're talking about the last day.
Oh yes. Wait, hold on, where's the,
It's right there.
Okay.
It's on.
put it like right, like kiss the mic. Really? Okay, so basically, the last time, we talked about this before, the last time Rylee and I went to Hawaii, we found randomly a little beach spot that like looks like it should be private, but all you have to do is drive up to the gate and ask for a parking pass, and we've never been told no, so, we've only gone there twice.
We've only been there one other time.
Yeah, we've only been there twice, but both times we were allowed.
2 for 2.
Yeah, 2 for 2. But this place is so sick, guys. It's like, you go there and it looks like a postcard. It looks so fucking beautiful. And they just naturally have all these lava rocks that make this pool/bay area. And it's a huge bay area. And
Bay area.
and it softens up the waves where it just makes it flat. It makes basically like a pool, like a giant fucking pool. And it's like perfect for kids, really, to go there, like get close to the water, and parents don't have to worry about their kids being swept out to sea. But if you're an adult, you could swim out a little bit further towards the rocks and do some snorkeling and shit. Dude, it's so sick.
The water is super clear over there.
The water's
and
ridiculously
both times
clear.
we went, we saw sea turtles and stuff.
Yes, every time.
Yeah, both times.
We really thought that like the last time it was like some unique special event, but you realize it's just like an everyday thing out there.
So I think that might be the coolest beach on the island.
No, 100%. Rylee and I basically spent the whole day there, where we were migrating from area to area to area, constantly like just snorkeling in different areas and trying to see what every area has to offer, and that shit was so sick, dude.
Yuriy was in the ocean for like 6 hours.
Oh, first it was 4, now it's 6.
4 hours.
But I was in the water for a
long time.
I did not want to. I felt like, dude, I used to be like that when I was a kid. When we would go have a beach day or a lake day, and I would always be the one who does not want to get out of the water, and my parents have to drag me out of the water. And I haven't had that since I was a kid, but that's how it felt with you. You were like, babe, get out of the water.
No,
I'm kidding.
I was
kidding.
like, I'm gonna chill right now.
No, yeah, Rylee was like tanning and shit, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna continue swimming around. This is too much fun. It was so sick.
Fun though. I think I saw cooler fish there than I did in
Every single fish you see in Finding Nemo, we saw swimming there. Turtles, hella turtles. We saw puffer fish, like unpuffed. What else did I see? Dude, hella crazy sea urchins. There's like, I'm kind of scared Lola's gonna press buttons on the keyboard. Hopefully not. But there's some sea urchins where they just look spiky, but there's some sea urchins where like they have these fucking giant needles off them, and like you could really accidentally get too close, and that shit's gonna stab your arm or some shit. I don't know. What happens if that shit like stings you?
I don't know.
That's what I was really worried about.
You just get punctured and bleed out.
But I was telling Rylee, out there they're so strict on the sea urchins, where they're like, don't touch them, don't damage them, all this stuff. But
maybe they're poisonous.
I swear, they kind of are. But I swear I've seen YouTube videos talking about how sea urchins are like they're not good. You know what I mean? Like when you see, there's like hella sea urchins out there. They're like everywhere. Every single place you look, there's sea urchins. And I've seen YouTube videos or like documentary type videos talking about how like they're actually not good when they come in those amount of numbers. Like you actually at that point want to start harvesting them or getting them out of there so they don't take over the whole ecosystem. And I was like thinking, why don't they promote us, just taking these things? But also, I don't eat uni. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, I'm not eating that.
Have you tried it? You never even tried it?
I heard it smells weird, right?
I don't know. Everything from the
like
sea kind of smells weird. But I think I have tried it and I did not like it. I for sure would not be a fan of uni. But it feels like they would fucking have infinite amount of uni out there.
It seems like it.
For real.
They're everywhere. Every crevice.
Basically, yeah, we just spent the whole last day swimming in the ocean, and then we went home and had another jacuzzi night. But this jacuzzi night was sick because it started raining.
Yes, it was hella nice.
It started like drizzling hella hard, and
I made burgers.
oh yes, Rylee made burgers, but then also the jacuzzi, like it told you like, oh, we can't. It didn't say we can't afford it, but it said like it's too expensive to keep the heater on indefinitely, so it'll only heat for 3 hours. And before Rylee and I went to the beach, we preheated it, got home, preheated it again. Ate dinner, and then preheated it like a third time, and then when we got in there, it was like boiling fucking hot. It was like way too fucking hot to be in there, and then it started raining. It was like the perfect like transition between a little bit cold rain and boiling hot jacuzzi water.
It was the best.
Oh yeah, she was so fire. And then what else happened, I guess, that night? Oh, actually, you know what? One thing I really have to talk about, which is like a lot of people are DMing me, and like Vel's like DMing me about this too. Like a lot of people are commentating on my Instagram posts at night from the Airbnb. And this is something I was telling Rylee that I noticed immediately too, is you come there during the day and you hear chickens crowing and you hear like some, random like birds and shit. It's like, it's really on an audio decibel level between 1 out of 10. During the day, it's like at a 2. Like it's like you hear some shit, but it's really not that crazy. Bro, as soon as the sun starts setting, the fucking wildlife noise goes to like, I'm not even joking, like for example, I have 1 to 10 scale of how loud some shit is, and 10 is like really loud. It's like at a 7 or 8. It's so fucking loud. On our first night, I was telling Rylee, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna try to close all the windows in the house because the shit's so loud. And you were like, I don't mind it.
Yeah,
like,
I was like, I kind of like it.
I liked it too, but
it was a lot. Like, it was a lot to get used to.
if you focus in on the sound, it's so much,
that.
bro.
Yeah, it was a lot. There's so many different bird calls that you're hearing at once.
And they're all exactly. It's like
going on. Yeah.
100 of the same bird calls, and there's 30 of them.
And then there's 30 more bird calls going on too at the same time.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
It's crazy.
It's so much. Like, if you were on mushrooms or something like that, I feel like it would be so overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like, or if you're a person who's not good with like exposure to hella sound, like I feel like that would be a gnarly place to be. It's so insane, dude. And I didn't even realize how loud it sounded on my Instagram post, but then when people were DMing me saying like, what the fuck is that noise, I re-listened to it on max volume. I'm like, damn, the shit's loud, bruh.
I loved it.
It's ridiculous. And then I remembered, as I was reading the description of this property before we got it, it said people who are light sleepers, like, you will have a bad experience here.
Be warned.
Yeah, be warned. It says like it's incredibly loud, and I was kind of thinking like, oh, what are we gonna hear? Some chickens crowing in the morning? Like, how bad could it be, dude? That shit is. It actually at no point did I ever feel like it was disturbing my sleep or I couldn't fall asleep. It was like comforting noise, but it was just super loud, Mm-hmm. But actually, it was making us wake up hell early,
which I love.
I'm known for sleeping in, and maybe it's because of that room had so much daylight too, but. We were waking up. I was waking up naturally without Rylee waking me up like at 7:30 in the morning, like every day.
It was amazing.
And I was not like
tired.
Tired or upset. I would just wake up and be like, I have energy and I'm ready to go. Like, I was just like, I don't know, it was cool.
We probably had more adrenaline.
What, in the morning? Mm-hmm. Adrenaline?
Yeah, we're just hyped on the trip.
Oh yes, exactly.
But yeah.
But after that, we had our last day, which is the day we were flying out, and Rylee really wanted to go to, what was it called?
The Coffee Shack.
The Coffee Shack.
We watched like a bunch of YouTube videos before, and a bunch of people were recommending this restaurant for breakfast. Because
it's literally like, the cliff that it's on is like a steep-ass cliff, and it's like a restaurant that goes off the cliff. And if you get the right seat, which we were lucky enough to get a seat right off the balcony, you have this crazy ass, sick ass view of the mountains and the water and shit.
Where we actually kayaked.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And it was bomb ass breakfast. It was so good.
Dude, you can judge a place by how good their club sandwich is, and that shit was.
It was really good.
Actually, no, it was
BLT.
But that BLT was super fucking good. The interesting part about that place is we were sitting, by the balcony, and I posted on my Instagram story. There was like these lizards crawling around this like railing next to me, and my experience with lizards out here, at least, is you put your hand close to it and it fucking runs away so fast. You can't even like do anything to it. These lizards were like hella curious, and they were like staring at me. and like they would run up to me, and I would like put my phone up to it, and the lizard would like stare at the phone and not
They were staring at Yuri hella.
bro, and they would not get scared. I would try to put my hand close to it, trying to like make it shoo away, and it would just stay there. And I was kind of realizing or thinking like, dude, do these lizards like eat do they like jump off the railing and try to get some food sometimes? Like why are these fools so comfortable with people? Like, it was kind of crazy.
It was funny.
But I didn't have that experience. They were fine. They didn't try to bite me or try to steal any food, but they got hella close, and they stare at you and get
There's like 6.
yeah, there was hella. There's everywhere. At first we saw one, we're like, oh, it's so cool. Then Riley's like, hey, there's another one. Hey, there's another one. Hey, there's another one.
There's a bigger one.
Yeah. And next thing you know, you look around, you're like, oh, wait, these things are literally fucking everywhere. But that place was hella good.
Had their famous cheesecake, which was delicious.
Oh, yeah. What was that fruit called?
Lilikoi.
Oh, yeah, the lilikoi, which I really like because I like tarty shit. And it's kind of like a lemon, but less spicy or a tarty, I guess. I don't know. Sour. There you go. I said spicy. But either way, yeah, that show was really good. And then on our way back, Rylee and I were actually able to sit next to one another, and we had this dude sitting next to us, and he was completely chill and fine and nice.
But wait, before
what?
When we got to the airport.
What happened?
Wait, are we talking about the airport right now?
Oh, yes.
When we got to the airport, Yuri and I were like in this like marketplace because I wanted to get water or something. And all of a sudden we hear like somebody make like this loud ass noise. So like I look and it
was a screech. It was
dude.
Like I was looking at the candy, Riley was looking at water, then we just hear the door open and we just hear like it was like a weird screechy noise.
I was like, what the hell? So I look and it was like this guy, and I looked at his face and I was just like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. And I just like walked past and I was like, babe, you're not gonna believe who that was. And he was like, who? I was like, that was Angus Cloud. He's like, who's that? I was like, he's from Euphoria. He's like hella famous. And like I saw his girl he was with, and she was wearing the Hose Mad trucker hat, and I was like, that's for sure like him. Because they were like all swagged out. He was wearing like Bape.
Yeah, when he came in, like I said, he made this loud, weird screeching noise. I don't know why he did that, but when he came in, he made that noise, and I was already looking down at like some Snickers or like some like Paydays or some shit like on the bottom shelf of something. And when I heard that screeching noise, I just like I heard it and I was like startled by it, but I disregarded it. I was just like I was like, yeah, whatever. I was like some random dude being annoying. I was just like, fuck it. And then I kept looking at the candy bars trying to see if I wanted anything. And then I saw him like walk up, and I just saw he had Bapes on, and then like some like I don't know, fancy pants or some shit. And I was like thinking like, oh man, why do I have a feeling this is a disconnected viewer? Why do I feel like this dude watches Disconnected or some shit? And then I just like walked away, and that's when Riley's like, oh my god, that's Angus Cloud. Should I go take a picture?
Really? I did not say that.
Yeah, you did.
No, I did not.
You did say I should go take a picture.
No, I did not.
Okay. I thought you did. Dude.
I said I kind of want to take a picture.
There you go.
I didn't say, should I take a picture?
Okay. I mislabeled it.
I said I kind of want to take a picture, but I'm not going to.
But, okay, what else happened? Oh, okay, so we got on the flight, got back home. Another 5-hour flight. I actually got to sit next to Rylee. Oh shit, Beans, you okay? Got to sit next to Rylee, and we were on Hawaiian Airlines, which is like it was way more comfortable experience. But I realized at that time,
still uncomfortable.
I cannot fly, bro. I am not one of those people. You see it all the time on Instagram. People are just like, I flew here, I flew to Ibiza, I flew to Mexico, I did all these things, and I'm like, and it seems so fun. But then after you think about like sitting on a flight for 5 to 7 hours. To me personally, it's not worth it, dude. I would rather drive, bro. I would rather drive.
It's not possible.
Or I would rather just do something in my area. Like flying sucks, bro.
You don't want to experience new things and see new places at all.
Well, at the price of dude. We were talking about I have had to go to Russia before when I was a kid, and that was like a 16-hour flight. And I can't, like, that was me as a kid. I don't remember what I did for 16 hours, but sitting for 16 hours on that flight would be
what do you do
crazy,
here all day?
Dude.
What do you do here all day?
But here I can spin around, smoke spliffs, go use the bathroom whenever. It's like, dude, that shit would be intense.
Damn, that's crazy.
I don't know if I could do that.
Not every day.
I know, but, geez, I have respect for all the YouTube travelers out there who are just like, that's all they do is just go from place to place constantly. Those flights must be insane.
I want to do it.
I feel like a lot of them really do the Xanax trick.
Yeah, for sure.
Cause like, it's like, every time I get on a flight, I just immediately think I'm going to get drinks. Cause I want to get drunk enough where I just don't even care where I am. Because if I'm like really mentally aware of what the hell's going on right now, this is the most uncomfortable, anxiety-ridden experience ever. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of flights. I'm realizing it's like claustrophobic.
You just gotta keep calm, not think about it.
That's not a big deal for 5 hours. Keep calm. You can't move your leg. Your left leg is in a weird position. Has to stay there. You want to get your phone out of your bag? Good luck. The gay guy says no. It's so crazy.
It's not that bad.
But that was basically our whole Hawaii trip. Last time we left Hawaii, we were arrested. This time we weren't arrested.
Thank
so
God.
way better experience.
Yeah, it was definitely easier.
Lesson learned, guys. Don't smoke weed at airports.
Yes.
It's a big no-no.
We drove past him. We're just like shaking our heads. Disappointed.
Yes, it's a terrible mistake. Oh, actually, you know what's something random that I forgot to bring up? But today, before we started Tent Talks, I drove down to the weed shop to grab some weed, and then I went to stop by 7-Eleven to grab a drink. And then as I went to go to 7-Eleven to grab a drink, I tried to use Apple Pay, and the dude was like, oh, shit doesn't work. And I specifically did not bring my wallet because I was like, I could just pay with my phone. And then the dude was like, oh, it doesn't work. I was like, all right, I'll be back. I'll go grab my wallet. And then when I left to go grab my wallet, I came back. There was this like dude and this girl standing by the register. And the dude was like, what are you buying? And I was just like, oh, just a Pepsi and a soup. And he was like... I bought a fucking another cup of noodle thing that I thought was an interesting flavor, but I was like, yeah, I'm just buying a Pepsi and a soup. He's like, let me pay for it with EBT and you'll just give me the cash. And I was just like, yeah, sure. I was like, fuck it, why not? And then I just like, did that little transaction with him real quick. But I just thought like, I was like, damn. I remember I used to be like the dude who would stand in the line and be like, oh, you're paying for this? Like, let me give you quarters. Like, let me trade quarters for cash or do shit like that.
Oh my God.
Like those little things. So when I saw him asking for the EBT transaction, I was like, it's fine. That's not that big of a deal. Would you have done it? If you were at 7-Eleven
No.
and some person was like, hey, let me pay for that for EBT and you give me the 10.
I'd be like, that's too much work.
Really? It was such a non-hassle thing for me to do. So I was just like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. But I just thought it was funny. I was like, I have never had that experience on like the other end. It was always been me standing in front of a line or doing some random shit trying to convince someone to help me out with this random favor. But I've never been the dude to be asked for that favor. I was like, yeah, I got you, fam.
Got you, don't worry.
Yeah.
Ain't no thing.
Not a big deal. One random topic I have here. I'm not sure how much we have to say about this, but it's kind of like, I can't even show the video because it's like it'll get us demonetized. It's kind of it shows two people being murdered basically, but it's almost like a Final Destination type video where I showed Rylee the video, and it's like a Tesla. I think in China, this guy has a Tesla. He tries to park his car into like along the side of a road, and then all of a sudden when he's trying to park, his Tesla just starts slamming on the acceleration, and apparently after the crash, that they arrested the dude and they tested him for alcohol and weed and all this stuff, and he was completely sober. And I think he even said that he was trying to press the brake and the brake wasn't working. But his Tesla, they have a hell of video evidence of this because there's so much CCTV out there in China. But his fucking Tesla just starts accelerating full force. And like out of nowhere, like I say, he tries to park. It just starts accelerating. There's a bike in front of him. He avoids the bike, continues driving. He goes faster and faster. There's all these clips of it where every clip the car is going even faster. It looks like at a certain point it reaches like 80 to 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, it looks like a video game.
Bro, it looks so crazy. And basically he gets to this point where his car is going faster and faster. He's trying to avoid all these people, and then out of nowhere the whole road is like covered with cars, and he slams into like a biker, hits like 7 other cars or 6 other cars, kills 2 people accidentally. Well, not by his doing. It was just like a Tesla fucking glitch or some shit. But if you watch the video, bro, it's like some fucking Final Destination shit. It's like
super unlucky.
The car just started accelerating, and you cannot brake.
Yeah,
Imagine being in those shoes.
I don't even know. Like, yeah, I don't have the brains to like know how to.
You wouldn't know what to do, and there's
nothing you could do. He said he pressed all the brakes.
And that's what's funny is like there's a couple people in the comment section. It was like a Reddit post, and there's a couple people saying like, why didn't the guy just fucking put the car into neutral? Why didn't he do this or do that? And it's like, number one, apparently if you're in a Tesla, to put into neutral, you take like this stick and you can go up or down with the stick. And to put into neutral, you have to hold it perfectly in the middle, which is kind of like a precise thing to do. Imagine your car is accelerating beyond control. You're freaking out. You have to grab the stick and be like, let me hold this thing in the middle really quick, put it into neutral. It's like, dude, you have no time to think. You know what I mean? Like, you're freaking out. You think you're about to die. It's like, it's kind of crazy that people are like trying to put blame on this dude. I really don't know exactly how much he has to do with it. It seems like a
like
test.
he's innocent.
Yeah, it seems like he's innocent. It's a Tesla glitch the whole time. And unfortunately, 2 people passed away. I think he ended up surviving it. But if you watch the video, bro, it is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
literally like the worst case scenario. And then you try to think like, oh, if I were to be in his shoes, what would you do? Because as soon as you're in those shoes of your car accelerating, your first thought is you're going maybe 10-15 miles per hour and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to hit anything, let me be careful here. Next thing you know, you're going 40-50 miles per hour. You're like, oh, I'm trying not to hit anything, this is getting out of control. Next thing you know, you're going 80 miles per hour and you realize it's only going faster, and you realize I should crash this thing to stop myself. But at that point, a crash is probably fatal, So in the very beginning, you like when you're going 15-20, you gotta already just crash into a wall and sacrifice your car because of a glitch. Like, bro, I know this is a one-off thing that probably will never happen again, or happens to 1 out of a billion Teslas. This is one of the reasons why I do not fuck with electric cars. Mainly because it's a thing in mechanics, or anything that you make, like a car, or a device or some shit. The more complicated you make it, the more room for error there is. You know what I mean? Like the more electrical components and measuring devices and tire inflator and wheel stabilizer, like all this shit that you add to a car, that's more fail points. Now this thing can break, now that thing can break. That's why I really like the old school manual cars from like the 70s, because guess what? It's just an engine, a black box, a stick to fucking change the gears, and wheels, and that's it. It's like there's really nothing that can go wrong with it, and if something goes wrong with it, it's like very easy to diagnose and fix immediately. You know, so that's why I like the idea of owning an older car, even though I'm not a mechanic and I don't know anything about fixing cars, and I probably would never. It just sounds like it makes more sense logically, rather than trusting this fucking Tesla that has all these wires and all this shit going on. Any little thing could happen, and the left wheel could not be updated to the same software the right wheel is to, and it's, bro, I don't know.
I also think this was a very freak accident.
No, yeah, 100%. But also me, I am gas car till I die. Fuck it, dude. I don't know what to say. Or public transit. I'm a big supporter of public transit.
2 feet.
2 feet?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just walk around. Or skateboards, I guess. But basically, that was it. That was the wrap up of our whole Hawaii trip.
Almost been 2.5 hours.
I know. 2.5? It's only been 2 hours. 2 hours and 5 minutes is 2.5 hours.
I thought we started at 6. Jeez, you're on my ass all the time.
I'm not really. I'm just trying to have a conversation here.
Special guest Lola.
Yes, with our special guest Lola, who hasn't done this in a long time. Joining us on the table and walking around. Lola.
Say hi to the camera.
She's avoiding beans. That's what she's doing.
You're doing it amazing.
She's making sure she's not gonna get Beans' attention, I guess. But either way, guys, we're gonna wrap up this show, and then we're gonna end the stream, and then within about Rylee's probably gonna go walk Beans, and I'll use the bathroom and shit. So within 5 minutes, we're gonna go live again for the episode 93 after show. So thank you to every single person watching this. Shout out to the Harmonious gang. Shout out to the Tent Talks gang. We appreciate you guys so much for supporting us continuously. We've been here for 93 episodes already, and that is insane. Leave a comment if you guys have been here since episode 1, because that would be crazy. I don't know how many people we have here since episode 1, but we've definitely have had a lot of new people join, and I appreciate you guys so much for fucking with us and supporting us and enjoying the content. If you guys can, please leave a like, please leave a comment, subscribe if you guys haven't already.
Cop a Tent Talks tea.
Also, hold on, should we make the announcement right now of when we're doing it?
Oh my god. Okay.
Is it this or the next?
The next.
Guys, November 25th, Rylee and I will be doing the Handcuffed to One Another for 24-hour stream challenge. The only reason, guys, it's taken so long to get to the stream is because Rylee works a full-time job Monday through Friday. This takes 24 hours. It's a lot to ask for. It's a stressful thing to do. And it's like, it would be unfair of me to ask Rylee to work all week, be handcuffed to me for 24 hours, then go straight back to work, you know. So we had to find a date in which it worked where she can have some days off and, you know, do the stream challenge and then have some time to recover, go back to work. So the 25th is the day that works out the best. Black Friday, basically. So we'll see you guys in 5 minutes for the after show.
Peace.
But also we'll see you guys the 25th for the Handcuffed To One Another for 24-hour stream challenge.
Pray for me.
See you guys then, and I'll see you guys in 5 minutes.